feeling, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
turn. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Nick family. Welcome to the show. Dope Soul Sports Talk, a member of the NBK family. I'm super excited to be back with you all. I miss you guys. I enjoyed myself in Ghana, but there's nothing like the Knick community. And I really thought that I would be able to do my shows and kind of stay connected. But where I was staying, the internet connection just was not high speed enough for me to do that. So I'm back with 2 shows this week. Thursday, I'll continue the morning recap shows. We got a lot to talk about today. Julius Randle has been playing well, at least I think overall for the season, but particularly the last 4 games. Is it possible with the Knicks' renewed defensive effort, number 1 in defense, unless things have changed over the last day or so? Since, over the last 4 games, we're the number 1 defensive team. If we continue to play like that, will we be able to finish in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference? Can we trust Randle? What's going on with Brunson's injury? How good is Grimes? Are we in on Tibbs or not really? Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. Let me bring in the panel. I'm here with resident panelist Jerrell, Eru, resident panelist Stafford Don. How's everybody doing?
What up? What up? What up? Glad to be back, man. Salute to you. Salute to the chat. I miss you guys, man. It's been a couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And salute to the chat. Pudge Nice, Kareem Grant, JJ. I was about to say Jerrell, Greg, Joe. What is that? Joel? Yeah, Joel.
Yeah.
My sister Juan in the house. Appreciate you. Angel Torres, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Staff, I'm sorry I cut you off. You was about to say something? Staffer? All right.
Stafford dropped off.
Yeah, he'll be back. Listen, let's get right into it. In terms of let's start with Julius Randle. He's a lightning rod, right? People, you either like him or you don't. All right. Yeah. That was you like him or you don't. But this season, he's kind of bounced back, right? He's not where he was 2 years ago. I don't think he'll ever be that. We'll see. But he's definitely bounced back from last season, even despite the ejection the other night. But are you buying that he's turned the corner? Are you buying that what we've seen, at least over the last 4 games with the renewed defense, and we'll get into that as well. Not just the team defense, but his defense has been better. Has that changed your opinion of him? Do you think we can build with him? And by that, I mean him being a key part on a championship team, because that's what I'm thinking. Championship contention. We're not there yet, but that's what I'm thinking. We need pieces, right? We need pieces. Can he be a key piece on a championship team? Or he's been in the league for 7, 8 years, 9 years. We kind of know who he is. Do we sell high and trade him while his value is high? So let's start right there. You from what you've seen this season, particularly the last 4 games, are you encouraged and you feel like, hey, yeah, he can be a piece, on a championship team? Or are you feeling like, certain things is just not going to change. We need to take this opportunity and move off of him. Jerrell, we'll start with you. E-Rule, we already know what Papa Staff are going to say.
It's funny, as soon as we start, this internet want to start giving me problems.
I know, right?
But salute to you, Queen. Thanks for having me, and salute to the chat. Jerrell, Eru, you know what it is.
Salute, bro. To answer Steph's question, that's tough, man, because I don't want to like rain on the parade of a 4-game winning streak. Like,
well, let me just stop. Let me just say this: we having an honest conversation right here.
Okay.
Like, nobody has to pull any punches, because that's how I felt on the show last night, my own show, Queen's Court. Like, I was being a Debbie Downer because I was just bringing up, some issues. So we having an honest conversation. We are on a 4-game winning streak. Randle is playing well, but we taking the entire body of work. We're looking at where we're trying to be, and we're just having an honest conversation. So just go at it.
Okay.
Stop being PC, Pudge Nice said.
Oh, okay, no PC for me. Unfortunately, yes, I will sell high on Randle, but I'm not exactly sure what this front office can get for him. And I don't even really think it's Randle's fault. I just think this team is the right team for him. And selling on him is almost like me kind of selling on the front office as well, because he's the reason why they signed him in the first place to the extension. The same year they actually drafted his replacement. So I like that started off, I didn't like that. So, I don't really have that much faith in the front office going forward. So I don't know. A lot of the stuff that I have about Julius Randle, or the negative things that I have thinking about Julius Randle, isn't necessarily his fault. Like, I still think he is the best player on this team. I hate to say that we should sell high on him, but that's just because of what I think of the future of this team, not necessarily him, if that makes sense.
So you don't see him, like, when you, in your mind, when you think about us being a championship contender, hopefully within the next 2 years, I would like to be able to say that. You don't, I know. You don't see where he would fit on that type of team as you're imagining it.
No, I really don't see it. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine that we'll be contenders in 2 years anyway, but I don't know. In order to get another star here, he might actually be part of the package to get that star here. So I don't know. We tried to get Donovan Mitchell over the summer. We didn't want to do that because of the compensation. So I don't know if anybody that's equal value and compensation, how do I know that they're going to pull the trigger on that deal too? So I don't necessarily know if they're going to get somebody that's better than Julius. So I don't know. The good decision might too be sell high. But like I said, it's not all his fault. Like, it's just how this team is made up. I don't really have any faith in the construction of this roster or the people who actually doing the constructing. So yeah, it's not all his fault. So I don't want to, be too down on Randle just because of his situation with us.
Okay. All right. E-Room?
Well, I mean, it's the same story for any player. I think. I just feel like, we signed Randle, we signed a bunch of other guys too. Now I know Steph said that before we started here, but it's like, which direction are we going? Like you made your bed now, so now what you gonna do? So technically with Brunson here, with RJ, with Julius and these guys, we have a window now. The window is open. You already done locked up all this salary cap, so the time is now to fix all the mistakes, the Fourniers and stuff like that, to try to double down and try to win. I think, because I don't see us any superstar that's worthy of trading for. And like, if we trade Julius, Obi Top is not the answer to me, And then what is RJ? Is he power forward? Is he a small forward? Is he what is he? There's like so many questions straight across the board. So what I would do, I just would stand pat with these guys and then just double down on what we're doing. What we are doing well, double down on it, and then see if we could put together, at least a quick 2-year span extra after this year, 2 more years, maybe just to get the most out of this thing. Because, the way that I see it, I just don't see what we're gonna do. Because if we trade Randle, then what do we do with the rest of the roster? Because just let's say for instance, some people want to trade for Kuzma, right? So if we trade for Kuzma, we trade Fournier and these guys or whoever's going to get traded, I just don't know. Like who's to say we're going to get that value? Some people say that with that Lakers trade, they want to trade Fournier for Nunn and freaking Patrick Beverly. It's like, what is that going to do for us? It's like
Right.
These are the trades. We're going to trade him or Cam for like a second round or first round pick. None of these things make any sense to me. So my thing is like we made our bed with these players that you signed. These were your moves. You didn't want to get Donovan Mitchell. Okay, so these are your guys. Use some of the pieces that we have and double down on what you built, and let's just go already. I
Now,
just
when
want
you
to
say
start.
double down, you mean bring in other pieces to go with the players they signed, they locked up. Okay.
Well, yeah, say Kuzma. I would go for Kuzma. I like Kuzma. I would go for Kuzma, but then you have to be aggressive when you do something like that. You go for Kuzma. He's a 20-point a game scorer. I would start him with Julius. With Mitchell Robinson and Jalen Brunson, and then maybe or maybe even start RJ at the 2. You have to just be aggressive with that. If you get a player like that, okay, stop playing around. Okay, just go for it. Try to win now. At least try to win for at least this year, next year, and then the third year, then maybe you could start playing around again. But to me, you got to constantly be aggressive. We can't sit with certain players on the bench, Fournier and Cam, and we're not playing these guys. They're just sitting on the bench. Rose just sitting on the bench. I feel like we need to just do something to double down on what we're doing and try to win now. We got to try to win now, I think.
The only thing I'll say about Kuzma, and we could talk about this later, is he's not a good 3-point shooter either. So you really talking about Brick City with Randle, RJ, and Kuzma. Though he is having a breakout season, I think he's for his career shooting like not even 30%. Might be better. This season.
Yeah, but it's just like, how do we get better? Like, there's nobody else that we're going to be able to trade for that's going to be shooting high percentages or anything like that. It's going to really impact us starting wise. I don't want to get somebody that's going to be on the bench. We got plenty of bench guys that are not playing, So
Right.
I'm like, we need to scoop some of these guys and get somebody here. If the reason why this guy Kuzma is available because he's only making $13 million. So it's somebody that he could be plucked off of the Wizards roster if they even want to trade him. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, he's unrestricted. But let me ask the question before I get to Stafford. It sounds like though we don't want to trade Randle because there's nobody else out there. I think what I'm trying to get to is, do you think the way he's been playing that he could be a solid piece? Because kind of what I'm hearing is, well, if we can get something for him, let's trade him. I'm not really hearing like, you know what? He's showing me something. I think he's one piece. We just got to get some other pieces.
Well, I'll say that he's a rebounder for the attitude that he showed when he got kicked out the other game. He has that spice. We don't have no spice besides him. So as we building the team, he could be a piece of it. He could be an enforcer. He could be just a bully on the team, rebounder. He could score a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like we need to like help them out. Maybe even like a Bogdanovich on Detroit if we was to get him on the roster just to have an extra weapon in the rotation. Because now you're talking about a super tight 9-man rotation where Bogdan's definitely going to get his minutes and that type of thing. Just to double down, and we just need the extra firepower out there just to help us win. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. All right, Stafford.
Man, I agree with you, but I'm not agreeing with Jerrell at all. Period. That's a no-no for me. I'm not selling him because. So Jerrell, let me ask you a question. Do you want to go back to Noah Vonleh? Do you want to go back to Noah Vonleh?
Jerrell is on.
You can't hear me?
No, he's muted.
Oh,
I said, you got any serious questions to ask me, Stafford?
No,
Of course, I don't
no.
want to.
Well, you want to trade him? Do you want to go back to Isaiah Hicks?
But Stafford, you don't have to trade him for those guys. You can
that's
trade
not
him
the
for
same
other
thing.
guys.
No. I'm not saying that. Listen to my context when I'm finished. Okay. Right? Did Kyrie and the other guy want to come here? Durant. Did Kyrie and Durant want to come here?
You said would they?
No. So no, did they want to come here?
No.
Okay. So we have a guy that was a free agent that wanted to come here, that wanted to revive us. Why, when we get a caliber player, I'm not saying he's great, I didn't say he was a superstar, a caliber player to come here and be a piece of a starting foundation, you want to just go ahead and sell him because he is playing well? To me, I find that makes no sense, because we have been at the bottom for how many years? You have teams like Oklahoma, Houston, Orlando that's been in the lottery for how many years, getting how many number one picks, and where are they at right now?
One of them just beat us.
What I'm,
what you mean? Like they're in the same place we've been at in the past 15 years.
No, I really don't think so. Because within the 4 years, we haven't made the play. We made the playoff one time since Julia's been here 4 years. One out of the 2 years we haven't made the playoffs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This year is a possibility, so it could be 2-2. So why is it when the young man is balling out and trying to elevate us, you want to go ahead and sell high? It's like we Knicks fans, we don't value nothing that is good for us, and just want to go ahead and just throw them away for nothing.
Well, nobody is saying for nothing, Staffer. Nobody's saying for nothing. You got to get equal. We got to get equal value. But
just as Iru said, there's nothing out there for us to trade for better.
Right, but that's two separate. Right, it's two separate questions. One is nobody is out there right now, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is just say theoretically somebody was out there.
Right.
Basically, what I'm trying to get at is, are you sold on Julius Randle or not? That's what I'm really trying to get at.
I'm riding until the wheels fall off.
Okay.
Well, right. I need a definition with the sell high stuff, because what is sell high?
Meaning that he's playing well, meaning that before his value was kind of low, so that even if somebody was available, Randle wouldn't be enough for you to get that guy, right? Now that he's playing well, selling high means that maybe you will be able to get something more from him now, something a bit more comparable than you would have gotten before when he wasn't playing well.
I get that, but what is it? What is the package that we're looking for? Because people out there are talking about, just get Crowder and a first round pick for him. That's not it. That's not going to work for me. I think I would be really, really upset if we did something like that.
No, I don't think they're going to do that.
I hope not.
But I mean, I would need a player. Sell high. Okay, so who was the player?
I don't know. Like, even though I was so high, I don't know who exactly the player is.
That's the thing with me. If there's not a player that we can point to that this is the guy that we could possibly get, and then make it make sense. Because let's say if we was to do like Zach LaVine, because he's supposed to be dangling, or DeRozan or something like that, we trade Julius to that team. You got to make it sense for the Knicks, because once you get rid of Julius, Obi Toppin is not it. He's not it at the power forward.
Yeah, I don't think Obi Toppin is the answer of power forward. We'll just have to get somebody else.
And then that's another story too, because the ball starts rolling now. Now after we done trade Julius, now we have to do all this compensation trades just to make up for the guy we already had. That to me is extremely frustrating.
So can we just rock out with what we have right now? People say I'm clueless, but you want Kendrick Nunn to come to the team. Kendrick Nunn. Right? I'm clueless, but you want Kendrick Nunn on this team. Where is he fitting in on this team?
Yeah, people are saying that Kendrick Nunn with Patrick Beverley, that they would just, they can sit on the bench just as long as they don't take time away from IQ and Deuce. It's like, come on. Why are we trading guys just so we can have guys sit on the bench? Are people are happy about that?
Right.
Iru, it's just sensitive Knicks fans that can't get what they want. So they lash out with emotions and just type whatever they want to type. So So you can say whatever you want. Go ahead, Queen.
I mean, this. I don't think I was coming at trading him for a specific person. I think where I'm thinking is when I'm thinking championship contention, can Randle be a piece? And I'm gonna tell you what I like about it, and then I'm gonna tell you the concerns that I have. Right. What I like particularly this year is that I like the way where Randle is getting his shots. Right. I like the fact that he's not taking wild shots other than those threes early in the shot clock, that it seems like over the past few games, he's kind of toned that down. He's still taking a bit too many 3-pointers for me. Over the past 4 games, he's taken 10 a game. And on the season, he's taken 7 a game. He's not a sharp shooter, right? So that's definitely something that I'm having a problem with. But other than that, he's making quick decisions. He's getting the ball in the key. He's playing to his bread and butter. He's driving to the basket. He's getting the ball around the foul line, taking the jump shot. Fine. Over the last 4 games, his defense has actually gotten better. And I actually have some stats. I'm going to pull that up as well. His defensive rating over the past 4 games is like 95, right? And his offensive rating is like 108, like a net 22, right? The concern is, let me just ask. We all agree he's not a number 1 on the championship team.
Right.
Facts.
Okay. All right. My concern is that he has a number 1 mentality.
Right.
And that when you bring in a star, I don't see him toning his game down a little. Well, I don't know. Toning it down is not. Basically, if you get a star, you're not running the offense through Randle. You're just not. And I don't know if he can accept that, because that's one of the things that I'm seeing already, right? When I left, Brunson was bringing the ball down the court. We were moving the ball, moving our bodies. Everybody was getting touches. Things transformed while I was away. And I watched the Knicks game, the games. Now, every time down, we're going through Randle, similar to we were doing 2 years ago. Right, going through Randle, he's either making the basket or he's hitting people out of the double team. And my concern for this particular team is we don't have a star, in my opinion. I know Sherwin disagrees. He thinks Randle is a star, not a superstar, but he thinks Randle is a star. I disagree. I feel like we need, if for us to be successful as a team, we need to share the ball more, move it around, get more people involved, because Randle is playing well right now. I'm not sure how much this is sustainable, right? That being said, my concern for a championship team is, can he just play his position and not command the ball as much as he does? I have some concerns about whether or not he would be able to do that. So that's my only concern about him, us bringing in stars and Randle still being on the team, is would he be able to play his role, right? Because now that he's playing his best, Brunson is kind of falling off. Now, I don't know if that's a direct result of the fact that all of these many balls to go around, and when you have to start now playing off the ball, you're just not as effective. I'm not sure. But I'm looking at Randle.
I think Brunson is hurt in a little way, which he is.
He might
be, right?
Because
if you look at the past couple games, he's the one that kind of carried us. He had like 32 straight points at one point. You know, he keep on falling, his calf, his this, his that.
Yeah,
so I guess the wear and tear will slow anyone down. So sometimes, you know, you got to live over the reins just a little bit. Let the other guy handle that issue. You understand what I'm saying? So at the same time, you know, I still think Randle understands his role, you know, but Brunson is beat up right now, and I hope they say he's questionable for tomorrow, But I don't even want him playing tomorrow. I just want him to take the day off.
Yeah.
With Brunson is rough because this is his style of play. He just draws contact every single time he got the ball.
Right.
You know, whether he's posting up with that patented move where he does that low dribble and comes up, it hits the guy. You know what I'm saying? Gets the foul and all that stuff. So he plays a very physical game.
But as a little small dude like that, how many beat ups can you get, bro?
Yeah, the last couple games he got slammed to the floor on his back.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like WWF out there.
Yeah, it's a picture floating around that Brunson got a walking boot on anyway, so I doubt if he plays anytime soon. Like it seemed like he really got injured.
Yeah,
on his ankle.
Yeah, he squeezed. It was like his foot got squeezed on the guy's body weight.
Right.
That's a tough injury, man. It's almost like a bone bruise kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Uncle Freezy is here, so let's invite him into the stream.
Oh, Lord.
But I do want to highlight two comments.
Oh, Lord.
Sherwin, we are playing like a 1990s team. We have slowed down the pace. Our defense has fallen from 20, I think he meant risen, from 27th to 14th with the slower pace. So 14th must have happened today, right? Because yesterday when we did the show, it was like around 10 or 11. And over the past 4 games, we were number 1 in defensive rating, number 1 in 3-point field goal percentage, and 3-point defending, and 3-point field goal percentage as well. So things may have changed since yesterday.
I wanted to ask this question too, man, because we were talking about Randle and his role and stuff. He's not on the championship team, whatever. If he had other players, could he work with other players? But we don't have those players. On this current roster, he is the star. There's nobody better than him. So he's going to share the ball. He's going to share it with Grimes, who doesn't want to shoot it. Cam was starting. He didn't want to shoot it. RJ is shooting, hit the bottom of the rim when on layups. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just weird. Like Randle has to be the number 1 guy because no one else is good enough to be the number 1 guy.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I don't like. I just don't like the fact that I feel like we're playing through him too much, and I feel like, yeah, I guess. Well, the other option was how he was playing earlier in the season in terms of just moving the ball. He's gonna still get his shots, but I think it just makes it easier for the defense when you just go to Randle. He's gonna take a shot. He's gonna pass it to one person. That person's gonna take a shot. The defense doesn't have to move and react that way. So I'm not saying that Randle, he could take the same amount of shots he's taking now. He could take them in the same spots he's taking them now. My preference is just move the ball around a little bit. They run that little screen up top around the free throw line where he put his butt into the defender. They give him the ball at the top of the key. And that's like every play down.
But that's the key.
So Queen, let me ask you this.
And I think that's going to be easier to defend when we start playing really good teams.
So Queen, let me ask you this. All right. So who would you like in your own preference to run the offense through? Since Randle is getting it too much, who is your preference?
My preference is to move it around like we was doing earlier in the season. Let Brunson get some shots, let RJ get some shots, let Randle get some shots. To me, I feel like we've been here before, just giving the ball to Randle every time down, letting him do what he do. You're not gonna. So I'm thinking big picture. Are we getting the furthest? Giving the ball to Randle every time down, running the offense through him every time down, or are we going to get further in this conference, moving the ball around, letting the defense work, and he can still get those same shots?
I agree with that, but I mean, like I'm trying to say, like who are we passing it to? RG's not reliable. All these guys are not reliable. In the beginning of the season, everybody agrees that was the right thing. 3 dribbles, the maximum for Julius, and pass the ball. That's it. Keep the ball moving. That's fine, but at the same time, now we're playing our best basketball, playing the way that we're playing now.
Well, I think we're playing our best basketball because we're defending.
Yeah, but doubling down.
Our offense has dropped down. I mean, part of it is that we're playing a slower pace, but our offensive rating has definitely dropped. Our pace has definitely dropped, but our defense has has gotten better.
That's what I keep saying, doubling down, because that's what we do best. When the pace is a little bit slower, we're still getting fast break points and that type of thing, but we're just not chucking up threes and that type of thing. We're playing the style of basketball that's comfortable for the group that we have. So since that is what works for us, then we need to make a trade that makes that better. That keeps improving what we're doing positively. Defense wise, get somebody in here that's gonna help that out. Maybe we definitely need somebody else to pass it to. Because if we're going to move the ball around, we're going to need to give it to somebody that's going to look at the rim. Somebody that can create their own shot. If he gives the ball to them, then he can create. Because the only person now is Julius and Brunson.
And Brunson is hurt. RJ has been playing better of late.
He's been playing a little better, yeah.
Yeah, but he's always been beeline. Give him a pick and beeline to the basket. He's good at that. But once you close the drive lanes on him, he's done. That to me, that's so frustrating to me. That's why I'm like so harping on trying to get this team some help. I think that's gonna be the best way to improve the team, because anything else is gonna set us back. Like a season, 2 seasons. I can't deal with that anymore.
Right. Before I get to Freezy, I will say, how are you gonna get help? You've locked yourself into RJ, Randle, Brunson, and.
But we got Cam, we got
Mitch.
Fournier, we got IQ, we got Obi. We got draft picks. We got guys that could be moved that are not playing. We can move them.
Okay.
They're talking about 17 plus 14. What's that? That's a lot of money. Over $30 million of salary and plus picks that we can move to make the team better.
Freezy. Well, let me just read this chat. Let me just read this. It's not a super chat, but it's Boogie. So to me, it's a super chat. Shout out to the chat. If Julius is traded, he's definitely making a conversation with his value because his game is all the way up. He's clicking and putting this lead of this team in his hands. Appreciate you. Freezy.
Hey.
What up, Freezy?
What's up, y'all?
Chilling.
Yo, does Randle need help?
Yes.
Yes, he does. If we trying to be championship contenders, hell yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I think Randle looked excellent, man. I saw him smiling the other day too. I was like, man, this is the Randle we've been waiting for.
We saw you guys smiling too on TV, MSG. You guys were live on TV.
Oh man, that's excellent, bro. That was dope.
Yeah, that was fire.
That was dope, man. Allen Houston talking to us, Del Curry talking to us. But yeah, man, I don't know if Julius Randle need help. I just think others need to convert their shots because they touch it.
You had a show this morning talking about us being championship contenders
or bust.
Or bust. You also said in that show that Randle is not a number one on the championship team.
Right.
Now,
yep.
I got my championship contending hat on. I'm not talking about this team right here. I'm talking about the championship contending team. If we're going to be championship contenders, hell yeah, Randle needs help.
Hey, okay. So if we talk, so I was assuming you're talking about like this little stretch that we going through.
Oh, no. Right. I mean, he's balling out right now. He's balling out. He's doing his thing right now.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because the championship contenders, listen, Randle, I would trade Randle for any piece in order for us to get a championship. I'd trade everybody. I even trade y'all darling RJ Barrett. Yes, I'll trade him for Eric Gordon right now. Right, right. I'll trade him for Eric Gordon. I'll trade y'all darling that ham sandwich right now for a bag of fries. Right now, what's the difference? They all carbs. A ham sandwich for fries is all carbs. But the thing is though, Randle is not a number one on the championship team. We already know that, right? But
even with how he's playing now, you still hold to that.
No, Randle is clearly a number 3 option. I don't care because to be a number 1 option is not just about how many points you score, right? It's about being and carrying the load every day, regardless of the matchup. So what you get 33 against Charlotte. Charlotte sucked. You know what I'm saying? Can you get 33 against the Boston Celtics and they on a 5-game winning streak and you need this game? That's what I'm talking about. We definitely got to get them type of guys in here. right? I'll trade Randle. I'll trade everybody. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is it's not that easy to get that alpha,
Right.
or the complementary player, right? It's just not that easy. And yes, it's championship or bust for me. But what I will say though, is if they don't make the move, I'm gonna be frustrated. But I do still feel like this team on this pace, and I go back to another thing that I said earlier in the season, that this team, there is a pathway for this team to win 50 games. If we continue on this path of what we're doing now. I said that also. Right, Queen? I did say that, right?
You did say that. You did say
right.
that.
There is a path for this team to win 50 games. If we continue on this path right here, if we don't go get anybody, I think this team can make some noise. Right. But what I want to ask is, so who do we go get if Randle is the number 3? Who is it that we can acquire?
That's the problem.
Yeah, I think we just have to wait and see who shakes loose, because right now I don't see anybody.
Right. That's what I'm saying, because Randle was never going to be that guy. We can't make him be that guy. When we try to make him be the number 2 guy, you see the meltdown like he had last year. You know what I'm saying?
But can he be, do you think, well, number one, if how he's playing now is sustained throughout the season, would that change your mind? Not that he could be a number 1, but that he could be a number 2, and that we would only need one more major piece. Obviously, you're still going to have to retool no matter, if you have 2 stars on the team, you still retool the roster and to get them support. But if he continues this type of play throughout the season, including the defense, like right now, I'll put it up after I ask the question, playing really, really well on both sides of the ball. You think he could be a number 2 if this is sustainable, or nah, no matter what, you still see him as a number 3?
No. Randle ain't no number 2. He ain't gonna never be no number 2.
Okay.
Never.
Okay.
Ever. Not even if them Space Jam aliens come back and give him something, give him a little package, he'll never be a number 2.
The secret sauce?
But he'll never be that. He'll never be, you know what I'm saying? King Midas can touch him. He still won't turn the goal. He'll never be a number 2. He just a number 3. That's just who he is. And I don't begrudge him, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just he is who he is. I mean, we can't expect him to change at 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? We can't expect him to be. RJ ain't it either. RJ's not a 1, 2, or 3 either. RJ's like
a 4.
RJ's a 6 man to me, man.
If he step his game up, he'll be a 4.
Yikes. Okay.
He's a 6 man to me, bench guy.
Yeah. RJ's not. RJ has this weird combination of confidence and faith in himself, and with a little bit of clutch gene. But aside from that, he's at a disadvantage because he don't have a physical disadvantage that he can exploit when other things ain't going. Like RJ, like for instance, the other day against Sacramento, when the Knicks went small and RJ was at the 4. They 4 just pushed RJ around like nothing. RJ's only a power forward in his mind. Like he's only strong in his mind. Right, like when RJ was tagged to Sabonis was down low, and I know Sabonis gives a lot of people problems. Sabonis is a big guy. Sabonis gave Hartenstein problems. He gave Mitch problems. But RJ was like a bug on a windshield. It's like, what you doing down here? You know what I'm saying? So in order for us to win a championship, Queen, I'm not gonna lie to you. In order for us to win a championship, we have to do something stark and immediate. Right, like Donovan Mitchell would be the number 2, and then you go out and get a player better than Donovan Mitchell for this team to win a championship.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, he's right.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work, though, man. With Donovan Mitchell, and get somebody better than Donovan Mitchell.
Meanwhile, keeping Julius Randle as your number 3.
Yeah, it's a chip. Chips take work.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's why we ain't got one since the 70s. Bro.
Yeah, but you got to go get that though. You got to we missed the opportunity and not getting Donovan. But if he got Donovan, RJ would have been gone. Then it would have just been Donovan and what Julius and we probably would have signed.
We would have been better. And Brunson,
we
would have been better.
Yeah, it would have been better.
I mean, according to most people, I mean, you just said RJ was a 6 man, so yeah, we could have get rid of him if he wanted to.
Yeah, and then you make I don't know what we would have left, but then you would I don't know, you hope that I hate talking about hope too. I hope that Cam Reddish could start playing well. You know what I'm saying? But then you say like get like a Kuzma at that point because he only makes 13. You got Kuzma, Julius, you got Donovan, you got Brunson. You know, then now you have at least firepower.
Right.
You know, to go with.
Right. And matchups don't favor us either. Say if we be a cute little story and win 50 games and get into the playoffs, even matchups don't favor us because say we're the 4th seed or the 3rd seed, say a miracle happens and we'll still mess around and face somebody like Philadelphia who has 2 alphas. You know what I'm saying? And a tertiary scorer in Tyrese Maxey. So, it puts us in that weird, sobering realization that even in our dream season, we don't have enough punching power, enough staying power to compete with teams that have elite level athletes that when their shot is not going, they can do other stuff easily. Like Joel Embiid, if his shot's not going, he could just be a big athlete. You know what I'm saying? But when Randall's shot's not going, he's complaining to the refs. And when RJ's shot's not going, his defense is suffering, and he just out there running around, not contributing.
Right. Let me throw this at you guys too. Brunson is 20. What? He's 27, right? Something like that. Wherever he is, Julius is about the same age too. So like, let's say if we saw high on Julius Randle, okay, and then we do whatever we do, and we start like a quick rebuild again. Brunson is still 27. Brunson got to go too. We need to get rid of Brunson and then get everybody on the same timeline here. Because then we'll have to go to the draft again and start. It would just be a complete rebuild.
But Ebru, who wants a Smurf on a big contract?
Who are you talking about?
Jalen Brunson.
Well, they all make the same basically. RJ's contract.
No, he had any disrespect. Now he's a Smurf now.
He's been a Smurf.
Listen,
get that off.
I'm easy, boy. You're not easy, brother.
I'm
all in. I'm all in on Brunson, and I will tell you this. I trust Brunson more than I trust Randall. And people can talk about Randall being our best player and this and that, and I'm arguably so. But in a big game, in terms of who's going to show up game in and game out, that's not going to fade. I'm putting my money on Brunson more than I'm putting my money on Randall. And I'm just talking about this. I'm just talking about this particular season. And this is one of the things that I guess I'm trying to get at in terms of moving the ball around. Like, I want Randall to shine, but I want Brunson to shine too. I want RJ to have an opportunity to shine. I'm just not feeling the ball stopping in this particular offense the way it's playing right now.
So ball stopping in what sense?
Ball stopping in the sense that every time down the court, the ball goes to Randall to make a play.
Right.
Okay.
We look like last year.
No,
Okay.
Right. And that's just easier to defend. Like I'm good with that type of play when you have a star. You want to come down every time and you want to give the ball to Kevin Durant and play through Kevin Durant? Fine. You want Kawhi limit? Fine. I just feel like that's going to be easier to stop. But that being said, I get what Eru was saying. That's our best option right now.
Yeah.
That's our best option right now. We might not get far with it. I don't think we're going to get far with that type of play in the playoffs. But I hear what you're saying. That's the best we can do right now, given Brunson injured and RJ is just not playing better of late, though, but overall not playing the way we thought he would play. So I get it.
Well, like I said, we got 35, 40, almost $40 million of salary to just wasted. Like Mitch Robinson, we wasted money on him too. Hartenstein, we probably wasted the money just judging by what Jericho is doing. We wasted money on one of those guys. We paid too much for them. So, I mean, we wasted a lot of money on that. We got Fournier's wasting money. Rose is wasting money. So we have guys that are holding a lot of money, 35, almost $40 million between those guys. Even more if you count those salaries of Mitch and Hartenstein. Now you're talking about getting close to $50 million of salary that's useless. So $50 million, I see $30 million in there could be another starting caliber player. $20 million could be another starting caliber player. So the answers, are right on the roster. Are we going to get a superstar? No. But what can we get? We can get reinforcements to help this team out. And then Julius won't have to go one-on-one because he won't be looking at RJ that's going to break the side of the backboard and then freaking IQ that's over there.
Well, Eru, how bad do you want to win?
Right.
I want to win today. Like if it was me, I'd rather get Isaiah in here and blow it up, throw a grenade in the trade thing and just make something happen and get some reinforcements.
If you want to win though, say because we were talking about the 3 best players, right? RJ, Randle, Brunson.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to bring in reinforcement, that might mean trading away all these kids to help them win right now. See ya.
Because we got how many draft picks do we have? We got to use them. And it, like the thing is the window. So like if we don't do those things and we trade high on Randle, it's still the same 2-3 years from now. And like if we double down now, it's still 2-3 years from now. It's still the same 2-3 years. So I would rather just fight. Because I mean, what's the like if I can't fight, I'm gonna wait till I get my black belt before I come outside. It's like crazy. I got to get out there. I got to put my hands up. I got to do whatever I got. I can't stay in my house afraid for my life. I have to get out there and fight at some point.
I'm in the mindset that this team can win a lot of games. This team can eat during the regular season, but I think we get steamrolled in the playoffs. Which, in the grand scheme of things, would it be better to win these games, develop some chemistry, get these players better, and then get creamed in the playoffs? Because it's going to happen, right? Or do you trade away these kids and assets, bring in reinforcements for Randle, RJ, and Brunson, and take your chances in the playoffs knowing that veteran experience and guile and things like that may be able to get you out of the first round depending on your matchup?
Hey, I'm gonna fight. Let's fight. I'm ready to fight. Because
think about it. If we win 50 games and we lose in the first round, that's going to be, to me, more disheartening than missing the playoffs completely. Because 50 games is a lot of games to win. Right.
But some teams are built for the regular season and not built for the playoffs. I mean, the reason why I would take it is that gives the front office more data in terms of what needs to happen. So how I'm seeing the Knicks, you play out a season, you figure out what you need to get better. You do that, you play out the next season. What do you need to do to get better? You make those changes, right? So that's what they tried to do when they brought in Fournier and Kemba because they felt like we needed more offense. It didn't work. They reset. They brought in Brunson. The Eastern Conference is not as right now doesn't look as tough as we thought it would look. Like some teams are struggling, Miami, Chicago. Other teams are struggling just like we are. Right? The team that the teams that find their footing the quickest, those are the teams that can take off. And the Knicks can be one of those teams. However, will Randle continue to play this way? Will Brunson get healthy enough to play the way he was playing prior to him being nicked up? And what's going on with RJ? Right. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about. So that's the question. Right now, the way Randle is playing, is this sustainable?
Of course it is.
Okay.
Of course it is. Well, I mean, there has been. I mean, it's not like Randle's averaging 14 a game. He averaging around the same amount of points he's been averaging since he's been a Knick.
Not the point. His level of play is different.
Yeah.
Because the points were similar last year too.
Right.
But you could tell by watching him, he's playing different.
He's a better player, even though his rebounds are down.
Right.
Even though his assists are down.
Correct. You could tell. So statistically, you might say, it's not that much difference. But when you look at him, there's a difference. You know.
Hey, Steph, if you look at you mentioned the standings and stuff, like the teams around the league. The Celtics, the Bucks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Nets, the 76ers. How much better are they? They do have all those teams have something that we don't have. They got star players. You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, they have to play off of the other players. I think if the Knicks were to get those reinforcements I'm talking about, that evens the playing field, because now we, like, across the board, we just have better players. We could put 5 guys that across the board might be better than just those 2 guys and 3 role players. You know what I'm trying to say? And even
I agree with you.
in the Western Conference, out of all teams, the Pelicans is leading the Western Conference. The Grizzlies is number 2. The Suns are beat. They're looking like they could be beat. Nuggets are like, they're trying to get themselves together. And after that, now you got the Trailblazers, Clippers, and stuff like that. The whole league is in disarray. So I mean, like I'm trying to say, like, it's literally like $50 million the Knicks can finagle, to get guys here that will help us even the team out. So now Julius Randle don't have to stand there and do everything because he's, I got somebody over here I can pass to. I got somebody over there I can pass. I can move the ball, and then instead of Randle shooting the 3-point shot off his shoulder like this, like he's playing darts. Maybe he can throw the extra pass to a Bogdanovich or somebody else that can.
But Randle's not the only one that hogs that ball, though, bro.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson hogs that ball, bro. Jalen Brunson hogs that ball a lot. It's so much so I call it the Brunson burner. Every time you get in that mindset, I call it the Brunson burner because I already know what he want to do. I know he want to cook. Right? Mm-hmm. I tagged that since like the second game of the season. He getting his mindset Freezy, regardless of the defense.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from that take, but if you really look at it in that sense,
I am really looking at it. I played basketball before. I am really looking at it.
Okay. No, but hear me out. In the third quarter, when we are stagnant and we are not scoring,
right?
He is the one that is taking that initiative to get in his bag and score, because sometimes we go 3-4 minutes without scoring. So when you say hogging the ball, Brunson burner.
But when others do that same thing in the other stretches of the game, it's a flaw. But when he does it, he's a hero.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point, and I agree, because there's certain people who can do it and certain people who can't. Okay. And I agree. I don't see Brunson just doing that all the time. I think he picks his spots in which he does it, and it's usually when we're a little stagnant. And that's one of the things that he's even said, that fine line between setting everybody else up and when I need to take initiative and start scoring. But to your point, Freezy, this is why I'm an advocate for this particular team of moving the ball and moving your bodies, because they all play on the island. Randle is on the island, taking his shots. Now it's RJ's turn to take his shots. Now it's Brunson's turn to take his shots. Where is the flow to the offense? Like to Eru's point, he said, all right, we got 5 guys. We can spread it out, even though we don't have 2 stars. But that only works if you're actually spreading it out. That only works if you're actually moving it around.
The issue is Grimes. A guy like Grimes has wide open shots. He passes them up.
Right. Agreed.
Mitchell Robinson is standing underneath the basket, literally underneath the circle, underneath the rim, waiting for the ball to come to him so he can jump up and catch it and dunk it. So like, who are we passing it to? And then when RJ makes moves and stuff, he'll fall on the floor. If he gets it and tries to drive, he'll fall on the floor, dribble off his foot, or hit the side of the rim or something like that. So.
So what you're saying is get better players. Once we get better players, then we can spread it around, and then we'll have a chance against these teams who are top heavy.
Yeah, I don't want to say that. I want to say that these young players need seasoning. They just need experience. Like we can't, like, if we're talking about making a championship level push with dudes that are like 22, 21, 22, 23 years old, then we are misguided in the way we see basketball. 22-year-olds, for the most part, if you have a group of them, are not winning the championship. They're not even seasoned enough to be a good enough supporting cast. What you would like, ideally, if you have a young group like that, you want to have some big time NBA players that can carry the load and kind of help them along. But we have Randle and Brunson, and they are not that level of player. So when we say pass the ball around and get, like the Sacramento game, Julius Randle had a turnover that was attributed to him, but it was because Emmanuel Quickley did not cut. It was 2 players, Quentin Grimes and Emmanuel Quickley, standing in a 4-foot space being guarded by 1 defender. Randle says cut. Nobody cuts. Then Randle anticipates the cut, and then Quickley takes off, and Randle throws the ball straight to the defender.
Right.
And on the stat sheet, that looks like a Julius Randle turnover.
Yeah.
Right? Is that Quickly's fault? Not really, because Quickly has to get these guys need to get experience and get more seasoning so that they can be those complementary and tertiary players to help the Brunsons and the Randalls and the RJs. RJ's still young too. Just because he's been here doesn't mean that he's completely seasoned. RJ is still learning too. So basically, at any given point, you're just going to have a Randle on the floor and a Brunson on the floor. And now that Derrick Rose is out of the rotation, now that Fournier is out of the rotation, and we playing all these kids, now it's like a kindergarten field trip out here on the floor. These guys sitting around, they don't know what to do. You can't blame them because they have to learn how to play. They have to get all the bad basketball out of them before they can become good players. Like we saw in the Charlotte game, me and Rob the Knick counted up all the shots that Quentin Grimes was passing up going to the rim. He would go to the rim, have his man beat, jump in the air, and throw the ball back out to the perimeter.
Yeah.
We got to about 7, and we started laughing so much and drinking beer, we lost count. You know what I'm saying? Grimes has his man beat, and instead of being aggressive, going to the rim and trying to finish, he kicked it out to the perimeter to Jericho Sims. What the heck is Jericho Sims gonna do with the ball?
That's the big issue,
and so I'm not knocking Grimes, right? But what I'm saying is these guys are so young that they have to get all these bad basketball plays and get their IQs up before they can be key contributors to a deep playoff team. And the thing we have to do as Knicks fans is do one of two things. Either be extremely patient with a young team that's learning on the fly, or co-signing, getting rid of these kids and bringing in veterans. Because you're not gonna have both. Because Grimes is not gonna play like a 9-year vet, right? Because he's not a 9-year vet, no matter how much film you watch.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things when you.
But I do think Freezy, you can have one or two young players on a veteran playoff team. Like when you look at even Philly having Maxey, this is just his second or third year. And then there's even Golden State will play one, but you gotta have those. You can't be counting on them. You know what I mean? You gotta have those veteran championship contending players. And so then if you playing a young guy, if he show up or he doesn't show up, it doesn't hurt you as much.
I understand. That's what I was. That's what I said. That's what I said though. The guy, we see that in our situation we have 6 guys in chat. Listen, man, y'all are bugging out. If you are heart torn over the kids not being successful, then you crazy. Because listen, these kids need time to get seasoning. If y'all in the chat thinking that you're gonna put 6 kids out on the floor and make a championship run, you crazy. You delusional. You got to give these kids time to become quality NBA players. Listen, that's the reason why cats don't want to come here, because of unreasonable expectations. You in the chat mad because Uncle Freezy said the kids ain't ready? That's not Uncle Freezy, hating on the kids. That's you having unreasonable expectations. Quentin Grimes is a second-year guard. It don't matter what age he came out. He's only been in the league for about a year and a third, right? Obi and Quickly have only been in the league for like two years and a third. RJ, this is his 4th year, 3 years and a third, and he was young when he came out. If you expect these guys to be seasoned like Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, that's a you problem. Let these kids get some seasoning, man, and stop being realistic. Stop being unrealistic. Let these kids learn.
I don't think the fan base is saying that they expect them to win us a championship. I think a lot of the fan base would be okay with us losing and letting them develop, even if we don't win in the process.
Right.
I should say. I do want to put this up, and then I'm gonna get to Eddie C. I meant to do this earlier, but the conversation was really, really good. Just in terms of, what Randall's stats has been, his All-NBA season, last season, and then this season, all the games, the first 3 games, the last 4 games. But particularly what I want to pay attention to is the offensive defensive rating and his net rating over the last 4 games. Now, I know Sherwin thinks that Randle is a good defender. Freezy, I heard say that, not necessarily he's a good defender, but he's carrying so much of the offense that we can't really expect him to.
Randle's inconsistent defensively.
He is inconsistent
He's
defensively.
Yeah.
But this is what I will say. He has the ability.
Right.
Definitely.
Both on and off the ball. And when this is a different team. Case in point, his defensive rating. So for those who don't know how many points he gives up or how many points he allows per 100 possessions, right now is at 96. His offensive rating is how many points he scores per 100%, 108. Look at the differential.
Right.
So this is the thing with Randle. I don't think he understands how good he can be. He plays both sides of the ball, even if you got to give up a little bit on the offensive end. He plays better on the defensive end. It's still a net positive for us. I mean, look at that. 95.8. The first 23 games, his defensive rating was 118.3, and it was visible. You could take any game and just watch him and follow him through. It was visible. And part of us winning, our defense getting better is, yes, McBride is a part of that. Grimes is a part of that. Shortening the rotation so everybody is on the string and you not having somebody else lessening the amount of mistakes, basically, because you're just going with 9 people. But a big part of our defense, in my opinion, has also been Randle's commitment, being more consistent on the defensive end, to use Freezy's word. That has helped our defense right now go from 26 10 days ago or 14 days ago to now, 10, 11, 10th, I believe it is. Randle's defense has had a part to do with that. And when you watch him now, when you follow him through, you can definitely see the difference. Anything before we move on that you want to comment on Randle before we move on?
Well, I mean, the ratings aside, watching games around Randle, because I hate these offensive, defensive rating stuff. I just don't. That's not for me. But just watching him play, he's blind in his left and right. He has like no peripheral vision, because like he'll look one way and then he'll totally forget that his man is way over there. That's consistent. That's what he just does. But when he applies himself, he's a really good on-ball defender. Man defender. He can close off driving lanes and that type of thing. But asking him to defend the perimeter, that's where he messes up. And I think that he's never going to get better at that. Unless maybe 1 or 2 plays he might be able to get out there, sometimes, but the majority of the time he's just not that guy. He's just not defensively aware like that on the perimeter. You know what?
I thought that as well because I agree with you. I've seen him play really good on-ball defense. I've seen him play Durant. I've seen him play Jaylen Brown in terms of moving his feet laterally, keeping them, in front.
He won a game with defense one time, diving on the ball and all that.
Right. But his off-ball defense, I just said, you know what? He's lost out there. His defensive IQ, he doesn't know what's supposed to be doing until that Utah game. That Utah game, he was hitting all of his rotations. He was closing out properly. So then I said, well, hold up now. Then this is not about defensive IQ. This is not about not knowing what you're supposed to be doing off ball. This is more about your willingness to commit. I'm not even saying 100% of the time on the defensive end. So I think he knows where he's supposed to be. It's just a matter of, it's just a matter of doing it more often. And I get you, Freezy, can't be 100%. And I get people in the chat. Harden doesn't play both sides of the ball. This player doesn't play both sides, both sides of the ball. But Randle ain't at that level.
No, and just real quick before we move on, I disagree with Eru. Not that I don't think his point is valid. I just see it differently. I think Randle legit loses focus from possession to possession.
Loses focus.
Like think about it. When his shot is not going, he's distracted, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Randle,
Blind in his left eye.
why are you thinking about the shot you missed and you on defense?
It's like diabetes. Him missing the shot is like diabetes to him, you know?
Clearly, bro. It's clearly he like this dude has the focus of a goldfish, bro. And I like him, but man,
that I just want to say one thing about that. What Freezy just said. That's why it's so good having this type of team out there, having Quentin Grimes at the 2, having Miles McBride come in off the bench, defending the perimeter, having Jericho Sims now playing power forward, having these defensive minded guys, so life is easier for him on the defensive end. And if he just focuses on the offensive end, you see how big time of a player he is. Like he could have gone for more than 40 against Sacramento if he doesn't have that meltdown.
Right.
I think he won Player of the Week, if I'm not mistaken. Or was he just nominated? Did he win the Player of the Week for the East Coast?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I think he was nominated.
Yeah, he definitely was nominated.
He might have won because I'm not sure if anybody else had a better week than Julius Randle, especially going 3-0 against the type. We played Cleveland, we played Charlotte, and then we played this last team, and we beat off.
And don't forget Atlanta. We played Atlanta Wednesday.
So then Atlanta's was the third team.
Yeah.
No, so it was like 4-0 we won, right?
Yeah.
So he should have won most definitely Player of the Week in the Eastern Conference. I just think he just goes to another level when he's not worried about the defense and he has defensive players around him.
Yeah.
So this rotation that we have now, this is what I've been waiting for since the start of the season.
Right.
This is what everybody's been. We saw this last year when the kids came in and played this type of defense. I'm not even talking about the offense. Like the offense could take a backseat to this conversation right now. The defense these kids are bringing is elite. And to me, that's why we win in the games. Ain't because, Randall's doing this thing. Barry's getting a little bit better, but it's the defense. And if we hang our hat on that, we can go as far as we want to go if we play elite defense every night. These kids are doing that every night.
But it's not just them, though. RJ's defense is better in this stretch. Randall's defense is better in this stretch. You can't just have one or two people playing good defense and think you're going to turn it around. So
no, I didn't say that.
okay.
I'm thinking as a whole, but obviously the kids jumpstart this situation. Having McBride out there, having those closeouts, he's helping. Quentin Grimes coming back 2 weeks straight. That's helping. So now everybody knows exactly what they have to do to be in the right spots to play defense. Mitchell Robinson's like they know they miss a shot. Mitchell Robinson is going to get that offensive rebound now. It's almost like 60-40. He's getting that offensive rebound. So once you know these things, life for you.
There's a lot of noise in the background. I'm not sure who's that.
Yeah.
Like a
once
swing
you know
or something.
these, that's my carousel, my Christmas carousel.
Must be nice to have bread like that.
It's a vintage, is a real vintage carousel. But I'll finish my point and I go on mute. Once you know what you got to do on the court, life is so much easier, and you start seeing these things happen, and you start winning games.
No doubt about it.
They set the
Can
table.
I just say one thing?
Yes.
One thing before we move on. I just hate that word meltdown. Because for you to be getting hacked all game, you get pushed in the back, and then you get knocked in the head. You're not supposed to be upset. It's a meltdown. Yeah, that's all I gotta say, man.
I agree with you, Stefan. Because RJ Barrett was getting mugged in that Kings game. Also, RJ was getting mugged. When we were calling the game, I was calling it he was being accosted in the game. And they weren't calling anything. Meanwhile, Sabonis was switching pivot feet and dipping his shoulder into Hartenstein, shrugging him off, and they didn't call anything.
Yeah. I don't think anybody is saying that you shouldn't be frustrated. like you human.
No, it's just
Nobody's
the word
saying.
I'm saying. We could use better context. Word meltdown. Meltdown is like he was so out of this world that he started cussing out the ref. You know what I mean? Just being belligerent. Was he all of that?
So you could just choose another synonym. Belligerent. He was being belligerent.
He wasn't nice.
He wasn't nice.
Yeah, just choose. Yeah, you can just choose whatever word you want to put in there, Stafford.
I'm just saying.
Randle was blank.
Sometimes the slack that this kid get, you know what I mean? This is whatever, man.
I mean, I didn't think it was a meltdown. I've seen him more out of control than that.
Yeah, he's been madder than that. I thought it was a dumb injection though, but I don't know. I don't hold that.
He asked for it.
Yeah, like when I saw it, I wasn't like, "Oh, here we go again." Like I didn't have that reaction when I saw it.
Jerrell, was that a rookie ref? The first one he went to, was that the rookie ref?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a rookie.
Yes.
Oh. He swallowed the whistle though, because Randle was going crazy and he was ignoring him, and then he looked at him. What you said? Beep, and then blew the whistle. He was ignoring him. You know, he was doing a good job at that.
Yo, you see Mike Brown though? You see Mike Brown was like, "You gonna let him talk to you like that?" You see him?
Yeah, I saw. He was right there. He was right there. I saw him.
Mike Brown was
funny. That was a vet coach move. I actually like that.
Yeah, he's a funny dude. He got some jokes. But what I want to say is that, like, have you ever seen, like, especially, he's not a star player, but he's our star player. Have you ever seen a team star player walk around and curse one ref out, turn around, walk the length of the court and curse the other ref out, and no teammates step in? Nobody grabbed him and said, "Yo, chill out." You know.
But did you see what happened when Fournier tried to do that last season?
Yeah, but Fournier,
they ain't messing with Randle.
Fournier got hemorrhoids right now.
No, but what I'm trying to say is he was aggressive with Fournier when Fournier was trying to hold him back last year.
Yeah,
people ain't nobody messing with
Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan.
So ain't nobody messing with Randle.
Mitchell Robinson was standing right there, all of 7 feet and 200 and whatever pounds, and he does like this when he dunks on OKC. You know what I'm saying? But Julius Randle standing right there, and if you look in the background, he was like this the whole time. Like,
ain't nobody messing with Randle. I'm telling you,
we don't have the type of players to do that though. Eru, who?
But the players shouldn't have did that though. This is what I was going to say, just real quick. Like so when I used to play a long time ago, right? Long time ago. Like the tight short era, the John Stockton short era is when I played, right? And so when we would be upset like that, our coach, seeing that we was going to have a meltdown, our coach would step in our stead and do something, you know what I'm saying, take all the arrows and even get ejected from the game, because it's easier to replace, because the assistant coach can step up in the coach's place and run the same thing that we have been game planning for, but you never let your star player get ejected, right?
Absolutely.
Tibbs watched this play out, and I know it happened fast. It kind of happened so fast that it caught everybody off guard, right? But Tibbs, for one, should have removed Randle from the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He should have removed Randle from the game, have Randle sit, right? Because you could see it brewing.
Yeah, it was brewing. I was about to say that. Like the last 2 plays before that, you could see that it was happening. He should have said, "Timeout, Julius, get out of here," and then listen, don't worry, I got it. You know,
right?
The only reason I disagree with that because he plays like that all the time.
That's true.
So like when do you reel Randle in? He always plays like that.
Right.
You're right about that.
So do you not call the timeout there?
No, I would have called a timeout, but Tibbs is Tibbs, man. Like Tibbs is old school, so he might not have called a timeout for a reason. I don't know.
Because he might have said maybe he thought we needed it.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, I agree.
2 to 3 things. Thibodeau, when he went into the press conference, he said the next time somebody's got to step in. Yeah. So now somebody knows it's been already said, and I'm pretty sure it's been said in the locker room. Right. Next time this happens, like whoever it is, it doesn't have to be Randle. It could be RJ Barrett. It could be this guy. It could be somebody has to step in and get that player away so they don't get taken out the game. Right. Secondly, he acknowledged it. So he had learned from the situation, and I think it's going to be. I'm willing to take the under that's not going to happen again.
Okay. Yeah, he did say I need to be better.
Wait. I don't know if it's never going to happen again though. That's. I don't think he should have said that if he said that.
Yeah.
No, he just took responsibility, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah.
I was very happy about that because that was the problem last time. His response last time was to curse us out, to curse the fans out. That was his response last time. This time
he took accountability for it, but yet still you don't know if it's going. You're not sure.
Right.
I don't think it's going to happen again.
I don't know, Jerrell.
Well, Stafford, like through his past history, I'm not betting that it would never happen again. What are you talking about? No.
This is the past. We in the present. It happened one time.
It just happened last game, Stafford.
But how you know it's going to happen again?
All right,
what are we talking about? The injection or a tech? He's going to get another tech.
Yeah, he's going to get another technical, and if he gets,
are we talking about injections or tech? Ejections or
I'm talking about ejection.
Okay.
All right, we'll see.
The ejections are going to happen again too.
Yeah, like even if he does
you just hope they don't happen in rapid succession. But NBA players are going to get ejected from games.
What I really want to see from him,
if he does get ejected again, I'm not saying that he's reverted to the old Randle. I'm saying don't promise people you're not going to get ejected again.
Right.
Because what I do want to see from him is instead of taking out his frustrations on the referees, I would like him to be more of an enforcer for the team against the players. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets a little bit too buddy with the players he's playing against, and he gets really aggressive with the refs. I would like to see a little change in that. I want to see him get more aggressive with the players. There's a Kodak Randle thing going out there. You know what I'm saying? And to me, if he would take on that persona, I would love that type of player because I know what he can do on the basketball court. Now, if he's an enforcer for us and our best player, we're talking about somebody else. We're talking about a brand new.
But that doesn't usually happen, though. You know, your best player is usually not your enforcer.
Yeah.
And as far as buddy,
Right.
all the players are buddy. That's just how, this ain't the 90s anymore.
Not all the players are buddy. Luka Doncic is the best player in the NBA, and he has no friends on that basketball court, Steph.
Right.
For them, but he's an anomaly.
Right.
Most of these players, when you see them,
he's the best player in the NBA. I think.
Okay, I get it. But what I'm saying, he's an anomaly.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the best players. He's not buddy with everybody.
He didn't grow up
his
here
best
either.
friend is his brother on his team.
Okay, two anomalies. But for the most part, when you see these guys, they shaking hands, they going out to dinner, they hitting each other up, they working out together. I mean, come on.
All these dudes play like AAU together. You name two people that's overseas did not grow up in like U.S. basketball.
And don't forget that these players too also have the same agencies,
right?
The same trainers. They go to the same colleges. Yeah, they go to the same colleges. They from the same metro areas. So I understand the thing about Luka, but I just want to say this thing real quick, Queen.
Yes, and then I'll get to the super chat. I got some super chats to get to.
The reason why I say Randle is going to be a number 3 is because of what you just said about the enforcer. That's the reason why I've always felt like Julius Randle can never and will never be a number 1, because an enforcer will never lead a team to a championship ever.
Charles Barkley, Charles Barkley needed more help though.
Right.
Yeah, Charles Barkley
wasn't a number 1,
and he ain't got no chips either.
Yeah, he ain't got no chips either because he was by himself too.
Right. I mean, no matter who the enforcer is, Buck Williams. You remember Buck Williams?
Right.
Buck Williams was an enforcer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
Buck Williams was a great NBA player.
Aside from that, if we get this team extra help, right, then Julius Randle have to be the number 1 guy. So then, like what Eddie C is trying to say, like look at CP3, man. CP3 had that little incident with the dude from the Pelicans, the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
He walked past him and then threw a cheap elbow in his throat. That's what I want to see Julius Randle do. And like instead of like
no,
I want to see Julius kind of come down.
No,
I mean, not dirty like that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Let's say like when the Knicks like back in the days, it's not gonna happen. But back in the days, like if somebody drove down, Oakley will foul him. But while Oakley is fouling, freaking the X-Man got his hand in his back pocket, and Mason got his elbow in the back. So it's like 3 fouls instead of 1. So I mean, not to that extreme, but just like instead of crying to the rest, yo, he hit me. Like instead of just ignore it, get the team together. So listen, man, I'm about to knock this guy in his chest on the way down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then let it be like that. You know, and then
I feel that way. Like get a hard rebound and just hitting one good elbow in his chest.
And if he
you on
does
that
that,
one, but
and to piggyback of what you saying, Eru, if he does that, I think the kids now, the kids in particular, I think the kids will follow that lead to a T. Like
hell yeah.
I have a feeling like McBride will come up and step to somebody.
I think it
You know what I'm saying?
depends on
I
the
have a
kid.
feeling that Grimes will come up and steps. I think Jericho Sims,
I
as
don't know
soft
about
spoken
Grimes.
as much as
I don't
soft
know about
spoken as he is, he will come up and step to somebody. So
That play is contagious.
if the persona changes to that, and I feel like it kind of sort of is changing to that, because every time you go into the press conference and you listen to the other coach, they talk about how physical the Knicks are. I don't see it on the screen. Like I'm not when I watch the game, I don't see the physicality, but obviously in there, it's getting physical. If the coach is always saying this team is getting physical, this
Right.
team is getting tough. This team knocked our teeth out last night.
Right. I mean,
What Coach
I'm
Mike
with the
Brown said.
physical part, but I don't really think that that's our issue, that we need to start throwing elbows and stuff. I mean, I think we got
Nah,
bigger
we
issues
physical
than that.
enough.
Well,
man.
instead of throwing
Yeah.
temper tantrums to the refs, ignore the refs and hit the dude, the guy that you're complaining to the refs that hit me. Hit
But
that
everybody,
You would get attacked the other way.
I think that's being
Yeah,
overblown. But let me
that's
get to
a-
these super chats.
guy. That's a
I,
big
Shout out to-
I understand what you're saying. I get
Shout
it.
out to Jay Boogie. It's really sad that Julius can't catch a break amongst the fan base. I mean, when he's playing like trash, he gets it. Last year, he got what he deserved. Now he's balling. We still treat him like trash.
Amen, Jay Boogie.
Okay.
You the main one, yeah.
Deron Wayne,
Pretty
you
crazy.
right, Jay Boogie. I don't know if he's talking to this or something else he said in the chat.
Amen, Darren Wayne.
And Greenhouse, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, listen to Jay Boogie. I don't think it's about this.
Take
this,
care, Greenhouse.
yeah, but hey, maybe it is.
Salute the greenhouse, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Definitely.
three of them in
Salute to
line.
Greenhouse.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
up Greenhouse.
Yeah, Greenhouse, you're right.
And
Say
Jay
what
Boogie,
you want to say, C-Mac.
hold on. Jay Boogie wanted us to know that his song "Pulling Up for 3" is available on Spotify.
That joint fire. too.
All right.
like
So
that.
let's move on to the Knicks right now. This particular team playing well right now. Can they finish in the top 6 in the Eastern Conference, or are we just having a good stretch right now? And when these other teams start getting themselves together, we won't be able to hold.
Hey, Steph, do you have a copy of the standings by any chance? Like, I got to see who's behind us. I got to remind myself who's behind
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Like Chicago's behind
got
us. I think
Atlanta.
Toronto's behind
Right.
us.
We got
Like, we
Atlanta, Washington,
we got some-
Toronto.
Miami's behind us.
We
Okay,
got
I'm gonna
some
tell you
teams-
right
Miami.
now. All right, hold on.
All right, hold
let me
on,
do
hold
it.
on.
1 through 10. Number 1, Boston Celtics.
Uh-huh.
Number 2, Milwaukee Bucks.
Mhm.
Number 3, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mhm.
Number 4, Brooklyn Nets.
Mhm.
Number 5, Philadelphia 76ers. Number 6, drum roll please, New York Knicks.
Let's go, Knicks.
So who's behind us? The next 4 behind us in the play-in spot is number 7, the Atlanta Hawks.
Mhm.
Number 8, Indiana Pacers. Number 9, Toronto Raptors. Number 10, Miami Heat. And Chicago and Washington right now is in 11th and 12th spot. They're out of the play-in, but it is close. New York in the 6th spot is 14 and 13, the Knicks. Us. Atlanta right behind them, 14 and 14. Indiana right behind
Right.
them, 14. They just a half a game. It's a game and a half between the 7th and 10th seed. Between the 6th and 10th, a game and a half. So that's going to be.
So it only takes pretty much a week for us to fall out of the playoffs.
Or
Or be in the lottery.
Two
You might-
losses, 2 or 3 losses to
Right.
fall out.
Hey, quick. So you and I had a conversation a couple of months ago, and it's in what seems like what was forever, right?
Right.
I talked to you about. I said, "Hey, Queen, you know what? This team, there's a pathway to this team winning 50 games, right?" And the chat laughed at me, like, "Call me a troll, all this stuff." I'm used to it, you know. Hey, Queen, I'm telling you, this nervousness, like what we feeling, like this. Oh no, this such and such team might get such and such back. You know what that is? That's an uncomfortableness by Knicks fans because they've never had the feeling of being really good. this sensation that they're feeling is unfamiliar. So it's like kind of nerves and jitters. Like they have the feeling like the bottom is gonna fall out of this thing, right? But where are the signs that the bottom is gonna fall out of this thing? The only thing that can stop this team from doing what they do on a nightly basis is injury. That's it.
Right.
If this team stays healthy, because think about it, this team is in the 6th seed. Sure, we're 14-13, right? And sure, there are some teams behind us that have a reputation for being better than us. But this season, they are not better than us, right?
Right.
What I'm saying despite all the stuff, look at all the stuff that has gone wrong, right? All the stuff. Grimes is shooting. Grimes has only scored in double digits 10 times in his 80-game career. Miles McBride's shot is all the way off. Quickly's offense is MIA. RJ Barrett was up until like this week. RJ Barrett was struggling. It was like a biblical proportions the way he was struggling, right?
You got a troll in the chat.
Julius Randle and Brunson and everybody is learning new roles and how to play together. Right. What's to say this team is not going to get better as they go along and get used to playing with each other?
Right.
What's to say this team won't get better when Jalen Brunson knows when? Because remember we brought up the ball hogging thing? Who's to say if they don't do what Queen said, pass the ball around, everybody touching it, everybody getting the same number of shots, being more efficient, all these type of things. Who's to say that the Knicks can't get better at these small things, like getting used to playing with each other? Jalen Brunson said it in the first week of the season. He was like, yeah, we're still all trying to learn how to play together. We're just not used to playing with each other, right? Meanwhile, what we forget is the Cleveland Cavaliers that we beat Sunday, that we throttled, right? That we put lumps on their head. They were ranked. They were the 4th seed in the conference. Then we beat Atlanta, who was the 5th seed. We beat Charlotte, who we know they suck. And then Sunday, we beat a Sacramento Kings team that was 14-10 with a better record than us. So I understand what the excuse is going to be. People are going to have built-in excuses like, well, we only beat them because such and such happened. But then when you look at those teams, Sacramento knocked off a giant before they played us. So why didn't they knock us off? They knocked off another giant, right? How come Cleveland didn't? How come you didn't look at Cleveland? Cleveland knocked off 2 giants before they played us. I thought Cleveland was going to blow us out, right? What about Atlanta? How come we're not talking about Atlanta? Atlanta has one of the deepest rosters in the Eastern Conference, right? So basically, what I'm getting at is if we can channel this energy of making excuses for failures to come, we can make excuses for us being better than what we think we are. This has been our thing the whole time. Is we want to feel, or we want to have this sensation that we're a perpetual loser, and then find a scapegoat and say Julius Randle or RJ Barrett to blame it on, as opposed to watching this team get better before our eyes.
Well, this is what I will agree with is there's and we had this show before I left. There's some untapped potential on this team, right? And I said this when we had the show, Freezy. I saw a path for the Knicks finishing out of the playoffs, and I saw a path for the Knicks finishing in the top 6. Okay. It could go either way depending on who and what happened or didn't happen during the season. And I think as much as we've struggled in some areas, we're still right in the thick of things, right? So if our defense continues, to your point, if our chemistry gets better, if RJ plays a little better, I definitely see that path.
Our young players get more seasoning.
Our young players get more seasoning. I see a path forward, right? Let's see what happens. I'm very encouraged by the defense, and we're playing. Well, let me ask you, do you think us playing a slower pace has a lot to do with our defense getting better? Our offensive rating is down, our pace is down, but our defense is better. Do you think it's related?
Are you asking me? I'm just
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm saying it don't matter. We got to play to our strengths. We can't play to nobody else's strengths. If we play, if playing at a slower pace is taking advantage of our personnel, then do it.
Mm-hmm. Then do it.
We can only be we got to be the best version ourselves. We can't try to mimic what other teams do and be a poorer version of what we're intended to be.
Right.
We have to be the best version. We have to be the best team that we can be on every night, even if that means getting to the brass tacks or getting back to the basics.
Yeah, I agree. And that was one of the things I was thinking. I'm like, we playing so fat. I'm wondering if that has something to do, with our defense. But I agree with you. Whatever, if we have to play at a slower pace, then that's what we have to do. Jerrell?
I think the pace has a lot to do with it, but the personnel has a lot to do with it too. Especially towards the since the beginning of the season, Grimes and Deuce wasn't playing very much.
Right.
Like Deuce was playing maybe a little bit, but he hardly played. And Grimes, and Grimes was hurt. So, yeah, them being in the rotation and logging more minutes, I think that's the reason why our defense is better. I understand the pace is, a factor, but I think personnel too.
Yeah, and then that point of attack defense too.
Right.
When you can keep people out the lane, then you don't have to be in rotation all the time.
Right.
You got to give Tom Thibodeau credit too for taking a stand and making that 9-man rotation and breaking hearts and because I mean now Deuce and Grimes have jump started us now. We're a different team, just like that. We're making that move. So
yeah,
like I said, like Freezy was talking about the weighed in for the season and all that stuff. But sometimes you got a whole bunch of season and you got the sandwich in the plastic bag. Before you know it, they're done oiled up and the bag just bust open and now the sandwich is on the floor. So I mean that can happen too. So I still maintain that I think I like what's going on, but as the trading deadline stuff gets closer, we'll have more of an idea of how we can get better. And then my thing I'm going to keep saying is just double down on what we're doing. Get these guys reinforcements because we can't just have Deuce and Grimes with all the adobo on their back. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to drink it to wash down that season. You know what I'm saying? We just got seasoning on in our throat.
Are you okay? Like Freezy said, if getting reinforcements means giving up some of these young players.
Well, it wouldn't be the rotational guys. Like I keep saying, it's Fournier that's not playing. Cam is not playing. Rose is not playing. Maybe Hartenstein, throw him in there, and we got draft picks in there. Those are the players. I'm not talking about the guys.
But how much? But what are you getting for those guys though? Like, because you think about it,
there's $50 million that's just out there. So I mean, what can we get for those guys? Somebody that's going to be in the rotation. We need to get these guys reinforcements.
I
mean, that is an easier question to answer. That's an easier question to answer than talking about getting a number one option or a superstar. You're not getting a number one option or a superstar.
But you're trying to get reinforcements by giving away people that's out of our rotation that players may not even want. So what I'm saying is, are you willing? Like, to me, I'm willing to give up somebody in our rotation if it makes us better.
So who is that though? You talking about
Emmanuel
Julius again?
I don't know, but even when you were talking about who we're gonna give up out of those 50 million, we don't know. It's about what are you willing to do. I'm willing to give up somebody in our rotation if it's gonna make us better. I don't feel like just giving up
options and stuff like that. Superstar players, somebody better than Julius.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying even reinforcements, depending on who that reinforcement is, it may not be a star, but even if it's a reinforcement, if it's going to make us better, like, for example, let's just say OG Anunoby, he's not a superstar, but if he was to become available, I would give up somebody in our rotation for him. So it doesn't have to be a star.
I don't think you have to go that far. I just think you need 48 minutes of point guard play, right? So when Brunson goes to the bench, say Brunson plays 33 minutes, I think you need 15 minutes of professional point guard play off the bench.
So you would you go with Pat Bev?
No,
who's available?
Pat Bev's not a point guard. Pat Bev
for 15 minutes?
No.
But what's the difference between Pat Bev and Deuce McBride?
Nothing. I think they're the same player. Basically.
According to Freezy, Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah,
But who are you getting
just,
for 15 minutes though?
I'm trying to get to it, and they brought up Pat.
Okay,
Bev.
go
That's what I
ahead.
just said. So instead of like trying to hit the home run, like with the what I'm gonna do is just use minimal assets and go out and get guys that can play with Brunson and complement Brunson at the same time. I've been saying this name for a while, right? I would suggest names like this: Mike Conley, Terrence Ross, Eric Gordon, Kelly Oubre's, names like this where on teams, veterans on teams where they know they're not going anywhere. And you can entice them with that magic carpet ride with the Knicks, because the Knicks are not gonna say, or not projected to be the number 1 seed in the East. But you can entice a veteran to say, hey man, come over here, take a lesser role, you'll make the playoffs. And listen, I know what people are gonna say. Man, 2 6'1" point guards in the same backcourt, man, and blah. I know. But Mike Conley just played with a 6'1" point guard last year, or another 6'1" guard last year, or 6'2" guard, or whatever you want to call Donovan Mitchell, right? You get your Eric Gordons, your professional scorers that are decent on defense. You get your Kelly Oubre. He may start, he may come off the bench, but he's got playoff experience on playoff teams. Go out and get those type of guys. And sure, you may have to sacrifice Jericho Sims or somebody, right? And my thing is, are you willing to sacrifice your third center for a backup point guard, regardless what the name is? In my mind, for my money, I'm willing to sacrifice a third center, right, for a backup point guard if it helps me move this thing along. What I don't want to do though is sacrifice the future for a playoff run that might end in a loss, and we know the loss is coming, right? So if it's like if I'm talking about say a Cam Reddish, would I do a Cam Reddish or something for a Goran Dragic just to come off the bench and be that 15 minutes? Yes, I would do that. And for those that have the heartstrings attached to Cam Reddish, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to rock the boat. What I'm saying is if you believe that this team can do something this season, then make the small moves. That's what championship teams do. You think championship teams care about the kids that ain't gonna contribute? The Boston Celtics traded 4 kids in one trade for Josh Richardson. They don't care.
But that means though that you're gonna sacrifice Sims. I don't know, trade Sims. You're willing to trade Sims, but if you bring in a backup point guard, then that means McBride is out as well, even whether he's still on the team or not.
So what are we doing? Are we making the playoffs or developing?
But then we still got Rose and we still got Quickly on the squad too, so they're gonna have 4 backup point guards.
Or you could trade Rose too, bro. What you want? Eva, you said it yourself. You said trade the dudes that's not playing, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you talking about trading Jericho Sims to get another point guard here? Another point guard is not even that good.
No, the point guard thing was the example, man. That's why I said this is an example. They're like, when you said trade for who, I was like, this is an example. Trade such and such for such and such, right? You could trade Derrick Rose for a wing player, a veteran wing like Kelly Oubre. Why not? They make about the same money.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what I'm on. If we trade for Kelly Oubre to get him to be in the 9-man rotation, that makes sense because that gives us firepower. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Just say upgrade around the fringes. You don't want to trade, for say
not Gordon Dragic. Gordon Dragic, he got more gray hair than you. There's no way.
Guys, we're all fanatics, right? And so I've been thinking about stuff like this all the time. Like I've been thinking, and I was hoping that Freezy would have mentioned the player that I would like to bring in, but he didn't mention the player I would like to bring in.
Do it, brother.
And there's also like some flaws. Like Mike Conley makes a lot of money, so you're gonna have to. The deal has to work, and you're dealing with this.
Eddie, so you mean I got to give up Fournier
this
too?
A-hole of what's his
you mean
name?
I got to give up Fournier to get Mike Conley?
Oh no, you're gonna have to give this guy who's the GM. I hate him. The Boston guy.
Ainge.
Yeah.
Ainge.
But I would like to double down when Eru was talking. I would like to double down on the defensive persona.
Two-way players only. Go ahead, Eddie C. Let me know. Tell me who you think.
But this is not the player that I'm thinking of. But I mean, I don't mind a Patrick Beverly if we were able to get off Evan Fournier's contract, right? So those are the type of players that I would like to have in the locker room. And if we were talking about enforcers, we definitely know he's an enforcer. So we can take Julius Randle out of the equation and put those two together and forget about it. Like, we'll be smacking people around the whole court for the next 70 games that we have in the season.
But
the player that I'm
enforcers don't act like that, bro. A enforcer don't stop being an enforcer because another dude show up. If
sometimes people act big or bad when they
negative reinforcement.
Sometimes
Yo, dog,
people
you heard what he said. You
big
gonna let
and
him talk to
bad
you like that?
when they somebody else, but then not when they by themselves. But the player that I really want to get in here is Monte Morris from Washington. I think that's the perfect backup point guard. He's making $9 million a year. I think he has a 3-year contract, so he's going to be here for the next 3 years. Washington Wizards looking like they're going to be a lottery team, and if we can entice them with a Cam Reddish package, a second-round pick, maybe something else, maybe a Derrick Rose to help him get some money off the books, type of deal.
Morris, though,
that's the type of guy that I want because he can score and he knows how to play. He's a professional backup point guard. He's the equivalent of a Tyus Jones in Memphis. Okay, like, we have to think logically because the way that our organization runs, they don't go out there really and get these big name guys. They do it on the sly. Like, they get these under the radar type guys, but that can help you get more wins. So that's the type of player that I'm looking at. You know, his deal is not crazy. I'm looking at the team that he's on. Washington ain't really going nowhere. I don't think they want to spend money on. He does have a relatively good deal, so I don't know how much they're willing to get off of him. But, you know, that's the type of point guard that I would like on my team. I know he's a little bit redundant with Emmanuel Quickly, but to Freezy's point, am I willing to give up Emmanuel Quickly to get Monte Morris in here for 3 years? Somebody who's professional. Quickly's going to get a contract worth more of $15 million per year the year after next. So I got to think down the road, what am I really doing with Quickly? Do I want Quickly? Do I want McBride? So all these things have to be thought of. And that's a player that I would be targeting. He's still young. I think he's 29 to 30. He's in that range of you know, he's not that old, but he's not that young. So he's going to be able to come in and play just in case, like I told you at the beginning of the season, Brunson gets hurt. I've been telling you guys since the beginning, this guy's going to get hurt. If we don't got somebody to spare him, we don't have anybody to spare him. Derrick Rose ain't playing, and we seeing it now. He's getting hurt.
What do we need to finish 6? Do we need those reinforcements to finish in the 6th seed, or can this team right here finish in the 6th on 1 through 6?
I think we can. I've said it before. I think we can win 50 with this team. With this team that we have on the floor right now. Not necessarily the first 20 games, because every team, especially the players that we're getting new, like Quinn Grimes is fairly new. Isaiah Hartenstein is new. You know, all these guys are new. It takes time to get to where you want to be. And we got where we wanted to be in the first 20 games. So this is the lineup. We're not moving off this. I think we can win 50 games, but if we want to go further if we want to win past the first round, we definitely gonna need some reinforcements.
Freezy.
And I don't think that's a bad trade either, because Quickly is from the DC area, so you know. And
you could get more for Quickly than Monte Morris. I would hope.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Queen, but I'm just saying though that he's from that area. I'm just saying that he's from that area, and you know, him starting for the Washington Wizards might be a blessing for him in disguise. You know, we get back Monte Morris with probably some other assets. You know, so I don't think that's a bad idea of Monte Morris coming in.
Freezy, I know you got to leave soon. Can this team finish 1 through 6, or do we need reinforcements to be able to do that?
Quite honestly, I think they figured it out. I think this team right now is destined to be the 6th seed. Excuse me, y'all.
At least.
Yeah. And I think this team, if everything goes right, if things keep going on the path that they're going, if Jalen Brunson can stay healthy, I think this team can get close to 50 wins if they play their game.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All the sprinting up and down the floor, jacking up threes. We
Mm.
shooting 53s and we can't shoot. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
All
Right.
this
Right.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we got dudes out here not even caring about defense. And
Right.
you know, if we play within ourselves, and I hate to sum it up like that. But if this team plays to their identity, which is Queen, let me tell you something.
Smash nose.
Right,
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you, Quentin Grimes is the most physical perimeter defender I think the Knicks have had in a very long time. Like when you watch we watched Grimes play Friday. Grimes doesn't give you an inch to breathe. He's always some physical part of him is always on some physical part of you, right?
but
And listen, if the thing is, we play a physical style of defense, right? It's why we don't get calls on offense, right? Because it's like this. How can you smack them up down there, and then when y'all come down here and they touch you, you want a foul call?
Mhm.
I understand the situation when the referees are in. You can't be physical with them, and then they can't be physical with you. I understand the whole thing. I think some calls are just egregious, but if I'm just speaking to the point, the question that you're asking me, this physical brand of defense is going to get the Knicks somewhere in the neighborhood of over 45 wins, right? Just because defense wins you games during the regular season, right? Now, when you get to the playoffs, you're going to need superpowers and elite stars to get you, because you're in the playoffs, it's the best of the best, right? But during the regular season, I think this team can be the 6th seed. My only thing is, can Smurf Jalen hold up? And that's a legit question to ask.
He's a tough guy, though.
You're right, but I'm not like what I'm saying is I'm not saying that he's not tough. He's very tough, but you're asking this guy to be the primary ball handler when you don't have a reliable second ball handler in the starting lineup or off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Most teams have 2 at a minimum, but they have 3 altogether. We have 1. That's why you see Randle doing all his stuff, pump fake, jab step, pump fake, jabs, driving people crazy. Because if we had 2 Jalen Brunsons or 3 Jalen Brunsons, that 1 Jalen Brunson wouldn't have to take the physical pounding that he's taking, right? So that's the reason why I suggest that we go out and go get a veteran that can ease the workload and be a mentor too, because he can help Jalen Brunson diagnose stuff on the floor. At the same time, he could talk to y'all kids over here and speed up that seasoning. You know what I'm saying? I think the team can do that if we just play, as long as we play New York Knicks brand of basketball, like we play. The reason why I like to go to games on the road is because I feel like I see the true Knicks. I see the true Knicks in their essence, and plus tickets at the Garden are expensive. But when you go see the Knicks, the Knicks play a different style of basketball than anybody in the NBA. They legit are super duper duper physical, right? And not saying that they punish you, not saying that they go across the line, but it's every time you move, somebody's moving you, man. It wear you out. Towards the end of the game, you start doing stuff like missing free throws if you're the opponent because you exhausted. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of. I think the Knicks, basically to sum it up, yes, if we play our style
that we're finding,
yes,
like we're finding our
identity,
right, right, yeah, for sure. Anything else? Any last words? Any?
I just wanted to say, like, we spent like a while talking about trades and stuff, and especially when Eru said that we're trading people that are not playing. I'm just interested to see what happens if we do an in-season trade. What happens to Tibbs' rotation, and we got to go through all of that again.
I mean, I would think at some point we're gonna move back to 10. Like basically we playing 8 because Sims is playing like 10 minutes a game.
Well, it would naturally go to 10 once Obi comes back, though.
Yeah.
But
No,
because
but
Sims will come out the
Sims might
rotation.
come out.
Got you.
Sims might come out. I think it needs to go back to 10. I mean, I'm not gonna say what it needs to be. We need to continue to win and play good defense.
That's true.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever
Hey,
it takes.
You about to get out of here because I was just about to ask you something. Should I save it for later?
Yeah.
No. Let me. I'll save it. I'll save it. I'll send it to you in the thing, and maybe we could use it as a topic.
It's a spicy question.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
You gonna do that and leave?
He said,
What are you doing, Freezy? You don't do that and just leave,
bro. My Giants got blown out Sunday. I'm hurt.
Hey, yo, Freezy, don't do that. You
Oh,
gonna do
man.
that and leave too?
Man.
Hey, yo, okay, Freezy. All right, Freezy. All
I'm
right.
just saying, bro.
Did you see the meme about the potato?
Yeah, that was a tough one.
But
That's a tough one.
but Freeze, I thought you was a Chicago Bear fan.
He is.
Since when you became a Giant fan?
Yeah, Stafford.
He was just playing. He just
On his neck. You are a
with-
Chicago Bears fan.
With all those people jumping off that Giants bandwagon, now that they losing, I figured that they figured.
So you saw the meme about the potato?
No, I ain't seen it. Can you send it to me?
Man, I gotta
Can you
send it to
me?
you, man.
Oh, okay.
I gotta send it to you.
All right. They said Brunson is playing.
Playing what?
We'll see.
He's a tough dude, man. He is, man. He is.
He's
But
walking around in a walking boot. How's he
Steph, didn't
playing
I say
tomorrow?
this at in the preseason? I said if we don't get him help, he's gonna get hurt. It's 25 games in, and we already see he hasn't been playing like his usual self, and it's because I think he hurt his wrist on his left hand or his thumb. One of those two.
You
things.
might be right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He hurt his thumb or he hurt his wrist, so he went into like a bad shooting stretch. Then he had like a thigh contusion.
Right.
calf.
Then he got
Yeah.
okay, it was
Yeah.
a quad. Now he has a foot contusion. We really need to get this guy some help. We need to sit this guy a few games, like for real. But somebody needs to be there to step. Like if Monte Morris was on our team, like I wouldn't be worried about Brunson. Like I would sit him against Chicago at least one of the games, at least the first. If not the first one, the second. But I would sit him. I would try to save him because we're gonna need him if we get to the playoffs or when we get to the playoffs. We're gonna need somebody like him. So we really need. They really have to assess that situation because, as much as I love Miles McBride, like these kids, these are my kids, man. McBride, Grimes, and Jericho Sims, those are my kids. Like, and they bring in the noise. Like, they bring in the type of play that I want to see, right? If we're willing to give up those Quicklies, those Obi Toppins to get in somebody here who can solidify this team, let's go that way. That's our identity. You know what I'm saying? Like through all this superstar firepower, offensive firepower, that's just not us. You know what I'm saying? We already did that. And it didn't work.
What did we do in terms of a
We tried to
superstar
get
that didn't
offensive
work?
players. We tried to get offensive players. I had an argument.
Peace and love,
yesterday.
Freezy. Peace and love.
Peace.
All right,
All right,
Freezy.
But who did we try to? What did we try to get? Like
We
what
tried to
superstar?
get a more offensive play. We tried to get a more offensive players and system, and it didn't work. We tried to get Evan Fournier to be our shooting guard. We tried to get.
That's not
Kemba
stars, though.
Walker.
That's not stars.
No, I didn't say stars. It was
okay.
the type of play, the offensive type of play. And now it's like a necessary evil, even because we went through that stretch of offensive play. That's just not us. And now we're playing our brand of basketball, which is defense, but some lingerings of the offensive style is still coming there. That's why we're able to score these amount of points. So we needed that type of stuff because now we can bear down on defense, but we have the foundation of an offensive team. We're not even shooting well at the 3-point line, but we're still scoring over 110 points per game.
Well, but things have changed since then. That's why when you looking at the stats, you got to look at the splits. We got to look at the splits. So we were 10th in offensive rating. The last 4 games we're down to 20. So the offense is suffering, but we're still winning. As long as it's a net positive, it's fine. The only thing I'm thinking is that, we're making it easier for the defense by not moving the ball. That's my only issue. But we
I mean,
we shall
that's
see.
true.
I gotta agree with Uncle Freezy, like you said earlier. They gotta make their shots. So if you don't want
Yeah.
Randall to the ball to be going through Randall all the time, RJ, Brunson, Grimes, he's my guy. They gotta make their shots. They
Yeah.
have to make their shots. That's the only way. Randall is not gonna have the ball all the time. It's a five person game, a team game. So it is what it is for right now because we're still winning.
We're winning for now. We'll see. We'll see in terms of what's sustainable. We'll see. Jay Boogie, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. I can't move Cam without refilling that wing position. He's our most talented wing. I don't get a point guard for him. Wing, please. Wing. We must fill our gaps. I mean, we definitely need a wing. We definitely need a wing. But I think point guard is an issue too. I mean, this is the thing with McBride. The reason McBride is playing because our defense has been a hot mess. And I know people want to blame it on Fournier, but remember, Fournier was the starting guard all of last season on the 11th ranked defense, right? So it's not just Fournier. As a team, we just weren't playing well defensively. So Tibbs had to keep trying something, keep trying something, keep changing the rotations till we got to McBride. If we were playing good defense, McBride wouldn't be playing right now. Yep. Right? If the defense had gelled earlier, McBride wouldn't even be in the rotation right now. It got to break glass proportions. that we had to make, some tough decisions and it's working for us. But if Brunson is out, I don't feel comfortable with McBride being a starting point guard in his stead.
I would feel more comfortable with Quickly there, though.
I would.
Well, then we lose firepower. Then we lose firepower off the bench. Who is going to? Rose is going to fill in.
Rose, they're not going to play. I don't think no matter what, those three guys, Cam Reddish, and they're not going to play no more, staff. I think something has to terribly go wrong. Like we got to be down 3 to 4 guys for those guys to play again in the Knicks uniform. But
hold on, Eddie C. Hold on. Real quick, right? We can't burn out these guys because it's a 9-man rotation. And this is the concern that I have, and Queen has a concern also too. And I said it last night also too. We keep burning out these guys. By the time we reach to the playoffs, they have no energy. So we have to at least insert one person in there. We can't have them playing 45, 35, 40 minutes. You know what I mean? Somebody has to step in that point guard role because we are taking away from the point guard role from the bench to bring it, even though you say Quickly is not a point guard. I get it. To bring on the starting point, on the starting unit. So who is going to fill in that backup when we bring it on the bench? It has to be
most likely the backup. Most likely, if let's say Brunson doesn't play, right? The team is as is. Most likely, Deuce McBride will be the backup one. Then Svi, he's probably going to be put into the rotation, and he's like a 2-3 guy. So you can get some spot minutes from him and put him at the 2 or the 3. So that's how you can take like Emmanuel Quickly's minutes from the second unit, somebody who can shoot. So there's ways you can go about it. It's just these guys, I don't think these guys are going to play no more, staff. Like he's not going to do that.
To me, that's just kind of like punishment. Like you're going to pass over Fournier, pass over Cam, and play Svi. Like
he's been doing it. He has been doing it.
Yeah,
like
he's been doing it.
And okay, so this kind of leads into the point, like, Jay Boogie, salute. Jay Boogie, how you doing, brother? He doesn't want to lose Cam. There's a lot of people that have attachments to Cam. But we also have to realize that this is not only basketball, this is also a business. So this is not necessarily just a basketball decision. This is to me, Cam Reddish is primarily a business decision. And if you're gonna put out Evan Fournier, God forbid he gets hurt, that was a bad business decision. If you're gonna put out Derrick Rose, who's an expiring contract, you know how brittle he is, and he gets hurt, that's a bad business decision. If you lose Svi Mikhailuk, that doesn't mean crap. He can go out there and break a leg. It doesn't mean a thing.
Listen, if that's the case, we shouldn't have played Rose at all. You got to play. He was in the rotation.
But
so
we
if that's
found what we needed to do,
but,
Steph. Now we know
the point,
what we want to do.
Hold on, I get it. But if there's injuries, what's wrong with putting him back in the rotation?
Obviously, they can have a conversation. Obviously, they can have a conversation, but they've had the conversation that he's not going to play.
Well,
but this is prior to injury. Hold on. There's been no conversation if Brunson can't play that Rose won't be back in the rotation. Tibbs said everything is on the table.
For sure.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
Tibbs said that we have a team. Yeah. Tibbs said that's why we have a team. He said everything is on the table. He said
everything is on the table. If there's injuries, everything is on the table.
The other day when he went out, right? Did he put in Cam Reddish? Right? That was the talk, right? When Jalen Brunson was out, did he put in Cam Reddish? Did he put in Derrick Rose? Did he put in these guys? And that was a situation where we needed to get one of those guys in. We ended up playing 8 people.
For one game.
We can't go.
We're talking going
for one
forward.
game.
For one game.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we can't be burning out these guys playing 44 minutes.
Listen,
all the time. We're going to get burnt out, Eddie C.
I feel you with that. I feel you with that. We need reinforcements. That's why I'm trying to get certain players in here. There's certain players that I want to get in here to help alleviate some of the stress. I'm totally there with you. If Jalen Brunson has a foot contusion or sprained an ankle or did whatever he did, and he's so damn important to us, why would they not sit him a game and put in Derrick Rose? Why would they not sit him a game and put in Cam Reddish? They're not going to do it.
I agree with that because I mean, like they're looking past it now. They it's politics. They're looking at players that are going to help them win going forward, and those guys are just not part of the plan.
Right.
You're going to put in Derrick Rose for one game, and then you're going to sit him back on the bench for the next 20.
Yo,
it happens all the time.
It's been guys been doing situational. Thank you.
It happens all the time. Listen. We don't know what they're going to do.
And we will see tomorrow.
We will see tomorrow. Yeah, it happens all the time. Where you put somebody, and we went back to Kemba Walker.
But I gave you an option. I gave you guys an option. Like we have other players on the team that can play. Like I like the way Svi Mikhailuk plays.
He can't. He's not. He doesn't play any defense.
Obviously, he's not Derrick Rose, and he's not. But can he come in and give me 10 minutes a game? Yeah, he can. He can probably score me about 6 points too.
But he's a big, right? Is he a big?
He's a 2-3.
Well, we don't know if he can play defense, but there is evidence in the G League. That's the only thing we have. I think he had like 7 steals in the G League that game that he played. He had 35 points and 7 steals. So he might be able to play defense. He never plays. How will we know?
We've seen him play on other teams.
Yeah, he's not a good defender.
He's not new to the league.
Yeah, but I mean, we're
and he's 6'7". He's not a point. He's not a point guard anyway. We're talking about a replacement for Brunson.
We saw R.J. Barrett play point forward when he was playing the power forward.
We got Quickly and we got Deuce McBride on the team.
Right. So Svi is not coming in to play point guard.
He's not because we got Quickly and
right.
Deuce McBride.
Correct.
And didn't R.J. Barrett play point guard last game in Sacramento?
Who?
R.J. Barrett.
Wasn't he playing the power forward? Though.
No, but you were talking about playing. Who's going to be playing like the backup point guard? Like there's people out there. Julius Randle can't play a little point forward. There's people out there. We have a team.
No doubt about it. That's what's going to happen. Actually, I don't care who they put out there in name only as the point guard.
Right,
Julius Randle is going to be handling the ball.
So then you guys are answering the question right there. Like it's not like we need Derrick Rose because he's a point guard. No, we don't. We need Cam Reddish.
We need secondary ball handlers.
We have
Right. We
we
need
have
secondary
Quentin
ball
Grimes who
handler.
can play the 3. We have RJ Barrett who can play the 3. I already gave you an option with Svi who can play the 3. We've seen Tom
Listen.
Thibodeau
What's
put
your
Jarek
issue with
Sirikos
Derrick
at
Rose,
4.
though?
I
What's
don't
your
have an
issue with Derrick
issue.
Rose?
I
And
don't
what's
have
the
an
issue?
issue
What's
with
the
none of these
fascination
guys.
with Speed? Like, what is the fascination with this guy
There
who's
isn't
probably
any.
played like 20 minutes his entire career? Like,
No,
I don't even know why his name came up.
Because
Like,
they
Because
got certain
why is
guys
his
out of the
name?
rotation. There's certain guys out of the rotation. So
yes, I
Svi is
think you're
next in
missing
line.
the
Svi is
point.
getting the call before Rose and these guys now. That's the reason why he's
You
being
think
mentioned.
so?
He
That's what
did it
happened the last game. Cam didn't play and Fournier didn't play. None of
it
those
make
guys
it.
got called. Svi got called.
Yeah, honestly, it seems like he's
How
not
much time
playing
was
when
left in the game?
It doesn't matter. They
Julius
still got
Randle
called
left
before
in the
those
second
guys.
quarter, right?
he left in the
Third quarter?
third. It was the third quarter, so he had a whole fourth quarter that he didn't play them, and he did play Speed. So I get what they're saying, but going forward, I don't see him playing a lot of minutes. Like I
I mean,
just don't see it.
that's what goes without saying. But I'm just saying, a healthy team's Svi's not playing. So I mean, it's not even nothing to argue about.
Right.
Right.
Anyway, any
When
last
one
words?
last point, just to make the point, when Obi Toppin got hurt, right? When Obi Toppin, even the first person that came into my mind was like, oh man, Cam could get some 4 minutes.
Okay,
Cam
we
didn't
got
come
it,
off
Eddie.
that bench.
We got it.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Any last words?
Shout out to Wiz in the
Always
chat.
a
He
spicy
said,
show, man.
we didn't talk about Grimes being the backup point guard.
But that's true that he could play.
Because you
Whoever is
can't-
at the point guard is going to be secondary to Randle.
True.
We could do that topic on Thursday, Jerrell.
Yeah, because there's some topics we didn't even get to.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could do that topic on Thursday.
Yep, that's true.
No worries, big guy. Jerrell, my
Yeah,
guy,
man. I just want to say for my last words, man, that I'm just really passionate about my Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I'm really
Of
passionate
course.
about my Knicks. I like the way they playing basketball. They playing my type of basketball. They playing New York Knicks style basketball, and I don't want nothing to disrupt that. I don't want nothing that could come in and just a sliver of disruption of what can happen. So, that's why I may be a little bit adamant about the way that I'm coming across, but that's just me being passionate about my Knicks.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Tibbs making the decisions anyway.
Right.
I mean, so this is
Right.
cool.
That's why I brought up, like, when we actually do make that trade, like that New York style of basketball you're talking about, that might go away. It just all depends, like who we get in here and who is going to crack that rotation that Tibbs already has, because it's going to have to change.
That's the issue, because I mean that's what happened with Cam Reddish. They made the trade for Cam Reddish, and then Tom Thibodeau said, "We already got our rotation.
Exactly.
Now. We don't need it."
Right.
That's
So
what
they could just do the same thing again. So
Right.
then I think that was the main reason, not the main reason why we didn't do well last year, but it was obviously a locker room issue. And it's going to be the same thing again if that happens again.
I mean, we can do it for picks. We can get picks.
Let me because I want to close it down, but let me let Boogie in and give his last words, and then we out
The
of here.
closer.
Salute.
The closer.
What's up, Boog?
Hey, good evening,
You
Queen.
muted. Okay.
Hello, how are you?
Very good.
I hope you had an enjoyable time, a well-deserved time on your vacation, but you was well missed. Not saying we want to hurry up and get back, but just, having you back, it's an honor to have you back.
Appreciate you.
It brings
I miss you
decoration.
guys too, for sure.
Right. Shout out to y'all great men, always rocking, doing what y'all doing. Shout out to the greatest people up under us in the chat, the world's most loyal and respectful people it is. Happy holidays, and since we winding down this new year and everything. I just came out here for a brief moment, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't shooting at my man Eddie C. That's my guy. But Jay Boogie always say that the names on the front is sewed on, and the names on the back, they're iron on. I don't care who's here, who gets removed or goes anywhere, long as it's something to help the team. I don't care if Cam goes. In fact, I do know for a fact Cam is up out of here. I don't spend like the last 2 games, the Cleveland game and the Charlotte game, very close to the New York Knicks to have my ear to the street with them. And I do know he's up out of here, but I'm not here to to keep Cam. My thing is, if you move him, go get something to fill that position. Don't jump way over here. You know what I'm saying? When we got guys that can develop, if you're going to get a guard for one of them guys, that's understandable. But our weak position is the 3 because we don't have one. RJ is playing that by force. That's why his game is falling off. When Reggie left, they bolted him up. And now his game is so bulked. He's like a robot. If he stays as his natural self at the 2 and stays a little bit lighter than what he is, then he could play a little quicker, a little faster. But he feel like he had to bulk up, and that hurts RJ's game in somewhat fashion. I'm not using that as an excuse for his game because he still makes a bunch of bonehead plays. But we need a 3 on our squad. There's other players out there that we can get. I understand we can use another guard, but we can maneuver some of them other guys that's in the backcourt to bring somebody over here to come play guard. But we do not have an athletic 3 that can do anything. And to me, Cam was our best athletic, talent to play the 3, but he's no part of our rotation. So if he's out of our rotation, you can't just go jump somewhere else and go do something else. You must refill the gaps instead of leaving them wide open where air can come through the door. When you're in your room and you had a window up, you wake up middle of the night, you like, it's breeze through. I forgot to close the window. You got to close the window so the air don't breathe through. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I want, man. And please, somehow, some way, please, chat, give Julius some love, some type of way, somehow, some way. And if you don't want to give him some love, sometimes you don't have to say something to bring him down. Let it go by. The man is working hard the best way he can just to fit in. Now, we know he will make some bonehead mistakes, but Julius right now, he's playing good ball. At the beginning of the season, you had to know and remember, he was taking lesser shots than Brunson and RJ, trying to fit in. Let RJ, y'all want RJ, let me let him go ahead. Y'all want Brunson, let me let him go ahead. But when things weren't going in, the man has been taking things into his own hand to try to, help lead the team back. You know how you can pay attention to his game? He's better passing out the double teams. He's understanding the blind side double teams. He's making cross-court passes. He's passing the ball better out of the double teams. So that right there tells you that Julius is working, trying to get his game up the par. He's trying to fit in the best way he can. He's trying to apologize his game the best way he can on the court. To me, I think he's doing a good job. But Julius, sometimes you got to just leave the referees alone, even when they make a bad call. Pat them on their butt, no homo, and tell them good call, ref, even though you know it was a bad call, and move on to the next and stop being stuck in the same play. That's all I want Julius to do. But besides, the team is doing pretty good right now. They're winning games they're supposed to win. Not losing games that we're supposed to not lose. We're winning those games. We're making sure. Now we got to learn how to beat the other teams, the bigger team. But again, we're not ready for them caliber type teams. So if we're not ready for them, let the team figure out a way how to get ready for them to go against them. Team know we need another all-star player. I would like to see 2 more killers come amongst this team. You know what I'm saying? Have me move RJ to the bench with him and Brunson and come up like that. Nothing was wrong with Ginobili doing that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that'll work, but give me 2 more killers to go along with Mitch and Julius Randle and Brunson. 2 killers, and work the bench like they are, like Golden State. That's how Golden State got over with all them championships through that bench. That's why they're crying right now. They don't have a bench. They don't have a bench right now. That's why they're not lasting, and they're running down the players. They're looking for bench help, man. But, man, blessings to everybody, man. Stay safe and healthy always. You know what I'm saying? That thing is out there, man.
Salute to you, J Boogie.
I'm gonna appease you. I'm gonna appease you with what you're saying, that we need a wing. There's gonna be 100 of them in this draft. We got 2 picks. We might not make both of the picks, but you get yourself a small forward. You'll get yourself a small forward who's gonna be 4 years under contract, and we can groom him to be one of these McBrides, one of these Grimes type of kids.
Nah. Listen, if we getting a small forward, they need to be better than
both of them. That's what I'm hoping. Both of them.
That's what I'm hoping.
Hey, you guys are better than me, man.
Grooming them to be a
better than me. I'm happy with what we got.
I mean, I'm
Nah,
happy.
man.
I mean, I'm not grooming nobody to
you,
be
I
a
feel you.
McBride. That's a second round pick. Then if we grooming them to be a
Yeah.
McBride, I'm looking for somebody that's gonna be able
I'm
to
just looking
start.
for some wins, Steph. Like I just
Yeah,
want
no
wins.
doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really
No doubt.
need, you know what it is.
Hey Boogie, I got your
You know what?
message the other day, man. I couldn't make it to the game on Friday, man. Just going through a little situation, but I appreciate you reaching out to me. You know what I mean? It's not seeing me at the game because you know I was supposed to be there. So
Right.
respect for you, respect for you still reaching out to me. I respect that.
Oh, no doubt. You my guy, man. You know, much love here. Much love for all y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if I got a chance to meet any of y'all, I'm trying to, make sure I'm in position to meet y'all because y'all some of the greatest people it is in the world. And I say it all the time. It's crazy how people so far away can be closer to you than the ones that's so close to you. Whatever your situation you was, my brother, I'm glad everything is okay. I can still view you and see you right here for the time being, but there'll be another opportunity where I'll be able to see you, dap you up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Same thing go to my man, the young Jim Brown up there. He know who I'm talking about. I already met the other two. And that goes also to everybody else that in the chat, man. If I got a chance to meet y'all, man, I'm going to embrace the situation. If you got the chance to meet me, please embrace the situation because once again, y'all the most loyal, respectful people it is in the world. That's why I made that anthem for y'all. Y'all are the biggest. Do not never forget that. You are the biggest.
Pulling up for three.
Right.
Yeah,
Three
man.
right. When you go on the road, that's how you tell how big we are as a fan base, man. It's humongous on the road, man. Humongous.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually sorry. I actually missed you, Jay Boogie. I was there at the opening night at Legends, but I was there before the game, and you was there after the game.
Man, hey, Queen got my map. Queen, you can give it to him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was mad that I missed you.
Video.
I missed you. I missed Hardwill. There's a couple people that I missed that I was mad because I didn't stay at the
Hardwill did come after.
Yeah, I didn't see that message that you put. I would have been there. I would have been there at the video, man.
That's okay. We ain't get me stop right there. We got a lot more work. That's what Nas tell the people. This is just something to feed the buzz. Wait till this thing come out in February. I ain't playing around. That's just something to feed the buzz.
Yo, Boog, let me point
Jay,
to the wall. Let me know. I'll run right through that shit for you, man.
But Jay, we need something. We need you to do a video in North Carolina too, man. Represent your hood too, man.
Oh, I got some things coming, man. All that's coming, man. Trust and believe,
For
man.
sure. Make
Shout
sure you hit me up.
Too, man. Hey, good luck to you, my brother, on both sides of the fantasy field too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta shoot that. And stay
you
out
too,
my
man. You too, bro.
Stay out my way tonight in that waiver wire.
I haven't even done anything, Boogie. You might be all yours, man.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Jerrell, Eru, Staffer, Eddie
Yes,
C,
Queen.
J Boogie. I appreciate you. Everybody in the chat that's rocking with us for what? A little over 2 hours. I appreciate the support. I definitely missed you guys. We will be back Thursday, 9 p.m. I'm doing 2 shows this week. So I'll be back Thursday, 9 p.m. And we're going to do this all over again. And then Thursday morning. Yeah, I was about to say, Thursday morning, I'll be back probably around 9 o'clock to recap the Chicago win. We're going to win in Chicago. I'll be able to recap that Thursday morning. And then again, I'll be back here Thursday night. I appreciate you guys. For real, hit the like button on your way out. And those who are not subscribed to the channel, if you're appreciating the content, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you'll be notified anytime.
Foxy.
Anytime I go, that's right. Shout out to Foxy. Always supporting. I appreciate you.
Shout out to Canteen Wireless too. Can't forget them people, man. That's a new thing we got going on. Shout out to Canteen Wireless. That new flip phone is out there, please.
Okay. All right.
Bless everybody.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now, pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?